Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Chud Watch. I hope you're doing well today. I don't know what's going on in chat right now. Why are you like this, chat? What are you doing? Jesus Christ. Anyway, hi everyone. I hope you're doing well. Today we're doing Chud Watch. We're gonna be looking at some crazy right-wing people on the internet and responding to the things they have to say. I might want some more suggestions from you guys. I don't know how long it's gonna take to get through what we have, but I don't have a ton of stuff pulled up. There wasn't a lot of great stuff today. Oh, did you figure it out? You need to know who the trickster is? No. We're having a meeting on Monday. On Monday, we're talking about the D&D stream, real quick. On Monday, the party is having a get-together at Jake's house to figure out who this is, and we're bringing all our notes, and we're gonna go through it. Anyway, what we have today is Sargon, once again looking at the polls and being very confused why Joe Biden is ahead. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, I don't have 100% trust in polls to be accurate. I trust in them to be precise, and there is a difference. But yeah, we'll see we'll see the hoops that Sargon jumps through to try and justify why the numbers aren't panning out the way he thinks that they should. Tate has a video where he says that you're Forrest Gump, probably because... Actually, you know what? Forrest Gump is rich at the end of that movie, so it doesn't even make sense for him to say, like, you're poor, like Forrest Gump. I don't know. The one I'm excited for, Jeremy, our bestest friend ever, has a new video on Brie Larson. So, I think we should all be pretty excited for that. And then, finally, we have, Tucker Carlson. He's ready. He's gonna take Joe Biden down. But, uh-oh, the damning evidence that he has on Joe Biden has been eaten by the Postal Service. Apparently they say they have found whatever this is, but it is funny to hear him talk about this, so we'll take a look. And then I had Red Pill God pulled up. I don't know what else we would watch, but, you know. Speaking of things that are on my screen, hey, have you subscribed to my YouTube channel yet? It's where I put all the content that I put on here, but there it stands for eternity, as long as Google exists, which who knows how long that'll be. So, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm almost at 3,000 subscribers. Sargon's other Twitter account? Why do you think this is Sargon's other... Oh. Okay. Why do you think this is Sargon's account? Any particular reason? Oh, God. It definitely... He talks like I would imagine Sargon would. Yeah. Okay, but like, without evidence it's Sargon, I wouldn't say that. It definitely sounds like Sargon, I agree, but there are other racists out there, guys. Like, other racists exist. Anyway, oops. This is just 5:38. I just had it pulled up to talk about polls if we need to during the Sargon thing. So I don't know, what are you... Oh, there were some bit messages I missed too. Tucker White 94 with 20 bits. Oh, Christ, we're gonna need a cleanser for the Sargon video. Yeah, we will. Tucker White 94 with 20 bits. So let's all go to Big Bill Hell's Cars cleanser. Oh, okay. Let me go find that. Jeez. Where did it go? Where did it go? It's got a link attached. Why can't I find it? There it is. Cool. So what do you guys want to do first? What do you think? We have Sargon, we have Tate, we have Jeremy, we have the Tucker Carlson thing, we have Red Pill God. What do you guys think? Sargon, The trash can. Sargon. Okay, Sargon wins. The sample size has determined that Sargon will win. Okay.
There's nothing funny about the tools
Captain Rosa, 20 bits. Sargon is how I learned to accept that not all sexism and transphobia has to be explicit. That and coming out as trans in defense I'm autistic and cannot read duplicity well. I mean, yeah, it's hard for a lot of people to read, like, dog whistles. And if someone is saying one thing, but it's clear they mean another thing in the subtext, if you're not good at reading subtext, like, it's not your fault. They're the liar. Like, it's on them. Okay. So yeah, I guess we'll do Sargon.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Captain Seculoid, thank you for subscribing with a 6-month streak. Captain Seculoid says, yo, we looking at some Greenwood outlaw cooming over shoe. Wait, what? What's going on with Sargon? Jesus. Music off. We do have a bingo card for Chud Bingo, by the way, if anyone would like to do it. I do not gift the person a sub. I can only afford to do that once a week on Tinfoil Tuesday, but someone made a bingo card for Chud Watch, so if you want to play for fun. And so people have said I don't think anyone's won Chud Bingo yet, but some people have said they'll gift like a sub to the winner, but there's no guarantee, so play for fun. Shady Shroomy with 160 bits, sneaky stabbin'. Did you just become the thing? It's Chud, not Bingo. That's weird. My sub goal went down, even though we reached it the other day. Okay. So anyway, sorry, I'm kind of scatterbrained today. So, today we're looking at quite a few things, but first we're going to take a look at Sargon's video, which came out 3 days ago, Joe Biden's zombie campaign. Sargon is quite convinced that Donald Trump is going to win the election. I think he thinks by a landslide for some reason, which makes the polling that is currently out very confusing to him because the polls indicate that Joe Biden is up not only nationally, but what's more important, because we have the Electoral College system here in the United States, Joe Biden appears to be up in many of the swing states that would be key to Trump's victory. So, Sargon's going to talk about why he thinks the polls are imaginary and that actually rally size and signage outside of homes in the middle of nowhere are actually good indicators of who's going to win the election. Now, let me be clear, before we even start this, I am not, like, I'm not the opposite of Sargon on this. I'm not going to come here and be like, oh, Joe Biden's definitely going to win, even with the polling that seems to indicate that that is the more likely outcome. We know what happened in 2016 with the polling. It was off by quite a bit because they failed to account for the number of uneducated white voters who came out. And I'm not saying that as derogatory. I mean uneducated as in non-college educated. I'm not calling them stupid. Although if I want to, colloquially, I will call them stupid, sure. But I'm just saying, literally within the polling, they weren't getting enough people who were non-college educated white people in the polls as to reflect the actual voters that came out in 2016. So there was like a four-point swing, roughly, towards Trump, which was enough in many states to get him that state and, of course, win the Electoral College. So, this election, supposedly a lot of pollsters have corrected for this. We'll see. We really won't know until the end of the election, one way or the other, especially after it'll take time to count, like, absentee ballots and stuff, and early voting. But I have more confidence in the polls than Sargon does. Let's put it that way. Even if polls are inaccurate, usually they're precise. And what I mean by that is accuracy is how close to the actual result you get. Precision is more about, do you get consistent results with your model even if you're off by a certain number. So polls are usually the best to show like trends, right? A single pollster, if we have their numbers moving in a specific direction, then you can generally tell there's a trend towards people gravitating towards one candidate or the other. Polls are always going to be just that. They're statistical models. They're not meant to be the end-all be-all, but they are interesting and informative and can sort of give you a layout of where people stand today. So yeah, let's take a look after I read this message or whatever. Attack of the Nerd, thank you for following. Welcome to the stream. And Tucker White 94 calling it now. Sargon's entire argument will be the polls are wrong. Trust my feels. Probably. He's gonna probably talk about campaign rally size, which is hilarious because Joe Biden is intentionally only having like, you know, a dozen people at rallies, and they're all social distancing because Democrats actually. Like, there are a lot of things to criticize about Democrats, but they actually take the pandemic seriously, which is not something to criticize.
I just can't believe the
Here we go.
conversation that's being had around the polling, and the polling in general. This is the Real Clear Politics average of polls, and as usual, Biden is on about 50 and Trump is on about 42, which would imply that Joe Biden seems to have the edge and is going to win the next election.
I didn't use Real Clear Politics average. I look at 538, so let's look at Real Clear Politics as the Real Clear Politics. Poll average. I assume they're using maybe just national polls, though, which is a pretty inaccurate way of going about things. If we're looking at, like, the general election, since we don't have popular vote here in the States, we use the stupid Electoral College. Yeah, it looks like this is using national polling numbers, which I wouldn't look at this. This is why I look at 538, because their system bakes in more, like, state polling stuff and it uses the Electoral College. This appears to be just popular vote. But yeah, Biden is up nationally by quite a bit. Almost 10 points. Like 8 points. 7.7, actually, it says right here. Which is good if you don't like Donald Trump. We'll see what happens. But again, I wouldn't use Real Clear Politics. I'd use something like 538 that puts more weight on puts more weight on state polls and less on national polling.
And my lying eyes just won't allow me to believe it. There must be something going on here, and I don't know what it is, and
Guy Fieri DDD, Hannah, how do you describe your political ideology? Like, I think I have an idea of where you land, but I don't know whether you subscribe to a particular ideology. If you had to put me anywhere, probably, like, social democrat. Like, you know, not, you know what I mean? I'm in favor of Bernie Sanders and stuff. And I'm even amenable to further left opinions than that, but I don't know.
Obviously nobody.
I don't know what I would specifically say. I think markets can be helpful, but I also recognize that very few individuals owning the businesses that function, the giant conglomerates within those markets, that's right, not a sustainable way to run a system, and I also think that the working class is getting effed over quite a bit. I want universal health care, I want access to college for people, I don't know. Put me wherever you think that is.
Tools of capitalism.
Tucker White 94 with 20 bits. Jesus tap dancing Christ. I thought he'd get more than 30 seconds before he resorted to feels.
Nobody else knows what it is, otherwise I wouldn't have to make this video because the answer would be manifested before us. So I guess we'll just have a look into it. I mean, like, if I didn't know the polls existed, go away advert, if I didn't know the polls existed, I probably wouldn't be aware that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are even campaigning. And if they were,
Sargon, you live inside a right-wing, like, media bubble. Obviously, you wouldn't. And also, a lot of their polling events, or not polling events, rather, their rallies and stuff, there's supposed to be very few people intentionally because of the pandemic. Guys, does Sargon know there's still a disease killing people? Did he forget?
I would say that their campaigns were dead in the water.
Democratic socialist? Sure, fine. If you think that fits me, great.
Kamala Harris recently went to North Carolina and inspired about 10 people to show up. 10 whole people. Right. I mean, I got better crowds than that when I was campaigning.
Sargon. They're not inviting tons of people to the rallies and stuff. They're intentionally having very small things and then broadcasting them or putting them on the internet because there's a disease. I don't know if you've been paying attention this year, Sargon. But there's this disease, COVID-19, over 225,000 dead people in America from it. The president caught it and needed to be airlifted to the hospital. Unfortunately, most Americans can't be airlifted to the nearest hospital to be given experimental treatments, so it makes sense to have small rallies where people are social distancing and wearing masks. If you're not an idiot and recognize that disease doesn't really care if you're doing a political rally or not, it's just going to spread if you're near other people. Like, I'd argue even these events with like 10, 11 people are kind of irresponsible. I understand why they feel the need to do it at all. I get it. But still, not a fan. Like, Sargon, the reason Trump's rallies are huge are because Republicans don't take this seriously. Which honestly is so weird. It makes me wonder if enough Republicans, there's got to be a statistical significance between like Republicans and Democrats, or people on the left and people on the right, if we're not talking about party affiliation, but more just like ideological slant. I wonder if it's killed more Republicans just because they're not taking it seriously and they're putting themselves out there more. They're going out without masks. They're like going to gatherings like the Trump stuff, or going out to restaurants when they really shouldn't be. Like, is that enough of a statistical significant amount that it's notable and might hurt Trump in certain areas? I doubt it, but it's interesting to think about. Tucker White 94, I love how the guy who all but killed UKIP is bragging about the crowd sizes of his. I understand what he's doing. He's saying, I lost, and even I had bigger crowds than this. Again, Sargon, you weren't campaigning in a year when people were catching COVID. That was the year people like you were catching milkshakes, if you remember.
So this is pretty embarrassing, but it's not the only one. Look at this at Detroit. You can see, I'll just pan through here. This is her on this stage. Look at all the space that's filled by nobody. And everyone, I guess, appropriately social distancing. Should we be charitable and say that's 100 people there? 100 people, wow. I mean, we could probably just manually count them all, actually, couldn't we? Probably find out it's about 60, if that. But anyway, let's just be charitable and say that she managed to muster 100 people, not including journalists with cameras, to her Detroit rally. What the hell is going on?
What could possibly be happening that tons of people around the country who believe in science aren't going outside? If only there was a clue.
She keeps having terrible interviews. I mean, this is a great screenshot I've put as a frame that I've paused on, because she just keeps having these weird outbursts and strange responses to things. Like the question here, is she presenting a socialist or progressive perspective? She laughs and goes, no, no, no. I'm a black woman with an Indian mother or father, or whichever one it was.
Tiger White 94, I know for a fact that Carl isn't this obtuse. He's so intellectually dishonest. Yeah, he is.
And I know what it's like, the lived experience of women, black people, etc., progressive rhetoric, blah, blah, blah. Like, she's been conditioned to just reflexively blurt out these pre-prepared responses in response to every single question being asked of her. And the thing is, the interviewer looks really steely-faced in this, and she's just like, there's something clearly strange going on here. And I'm sure that there is. But again, like, every event, now it's people chanting 4 more years at Joe Biden's events, because why not? In fact, he did one the other day in Arizona, and literally no one turned up. The news anchor's just like, well, I'll just move out the way and show you. There's literally nobody there. Like local news, it's like, well, no one's turned up. Don't know what to tell you. Not much of a rally. Like, what's going on? How am I supposed to believe that this guy's up in the polls beating the incumbent president of the United States?
Because Trump is very, very unpopular. Trump is more unpopular than Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are popular. Coming from someone on the left, like I do, and I'm, you know, the people I follow on Twitter and stuff are pretty much all pretty far left people. Even though we don't like Joe Biden a lot more than even most of the country, a lot of the country's like center right, or you have liberals. A lot of them are fine with Joe Biden. I don't know if anyone's like in love with Joe Biden as a candidate, but like more or less they find him okay. But even people on the left like me, like Jake, you know, a lot of people are like, hey, we don't like Joe Biden very much, but Trump is an existential threat to the future of the democracy in this country. Please vote for Joe Biden. So even though I would never go to a Biden rally, I have absolutely no reason to do so. I will continually advocate for people to vote for him, right? Because the competitor is Donald Trump, and we've had 4 years to see how Donald Trump does. Guess what? He does bad. He does real bad. Frustrating.
And then all the gaffes. I mean, this is obviously a parody article from the Babylon Bee, but I from March 2nd, 2020, so however many months ago now, 8 months ago, 7 months ago.
I'm thinking of a meme now, by the way, where it's like, Mom, can we have satire news articles? And then the mom goes, we have satire news articles at home. And then it's it's The Onion. And then it says what we actually have at home, and it's Babylon Bee. Babylon Bee wants to be The Onion so bad, but they're just not as funny. They're just not funny.
And where they're predicting that Biden will be so senile that he'll forget which president he's running against. And today, Biden came out and said, well, I'm going to beat George, referring to Trump, presumably thinking that he's running against George Bush.
Or he misspoke, Sargon. Do you think the only reason someone might say a name wrong... And by the way, if we're gonna get into, like, misnaming... Guys, he supports Trump! The man who can't speak a single coherent sentence without sounding like an insane drunk uncle at Thanksgiving. But Joe Biden says a name wrong once, which everyone has done at one point or another... accidentally said someone else's name, but of course that must inevitably mean that Joe Biden actually thinks he's running against George W. Bush and not just that he misspoke once. It's so frustrating with the double standards from these people. It is so annoying, and I hate it.
Which, I mean, he probably has done it.
Tim Apple. I do remember that.
At some point in his 47-year career. I mean,
oh, see, I didn't even know that. Baja Blast says he was speaking to George Lopez. He was referring to the person interviewing him. Okay, I didn't even know that. That makes sense. Tucker White 94 with 20 bits. To be fair to Sargon, Joe Biden has also had his share of senile gaffes. I know he has. I know. Which is why I think the fact that we have such old politicians in this country is such a disgusting problem. But the fact that Sargon, like, looks at Joe and goes, like, Joe Biden, dementia brainworms, but looks at Trump and is like, but he's the picture of health, mentally and physically, it's hypocritical. I can look at Joe Biden and be like, oh, this dude is too old. Like, this dude should not be the president. And that would be an honest answer for me as far as I see it. But I still think he's a better option than Trump. But that's not what he's saying in reverse. He's saying Joe Biden is a dementia-ridden, like senile old man, and Trump is a superhero who has the mental acuity of, like, Tony Stark. Like, this is not reality, okay? And by the way, I don't think Joe Biden has dementia or anything. I think he just misspeaks like anyone. Guys...
Like, you know, give him a break. He probably can't even remember the names of all of the presidents that he has been a politician under, to be honest. And after 47 years, I probably wouldn't either. It's probably like 7 or 8 or something. But the Babylon Bee stories just keep coming. And they're meant to be parodies. And then the Biden campaign keeps doing them. Like, they're going to call a lid until election, because you may well remember that Biden was calling a lid, which means ending the day's campaigning at like 9:30 in the morning. It's like, wow. That sounds like retirement, doesn't it? It sounds like the sort of thing that maybe Sleepy Joe wants to do. But
the Sleepy Joe thing is hilarious to me, too. Like, guys, Donald Trump does not do his job. Joe Biden does do his job. This deflection is so annoying.
But then, literally, yesterday... Biden says he won't do any more campaigning in person for the remaining 9 days. Well, what's the point? I mean, no one was turning up. Why would you bother doing any campaigning with this little enthusiasm?
I don't think he needs to. Like, there's no indication that the polls have been shifting towards Trump. Actually, since the third debate, they've shifted a little bit towards Biden. Anyone who's making their mind up in the last 9 days is an idiot. Like, if you don't know at this point... What are you doing? Don't vote if you don't know at this point.
Behind you. And like I said with the
tinfoil or hot pocket. Okay, sub badges. At some point maybe I'd have to find someone to make them.
Not that one. The interviews and the general press surrounding them. It's been just disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. It's been wonderful watching Glenn.
It's been disgraceful. By the way, ignore the fact, please, that Trump stormed out of a 60 Minutes interview the other day because he couldn't answer basic questions about his presidency. That XY Girl, thank you for subscribing with Prime with a 2-month streak. That XY Girl says, Carlgon speaks with a similar coherence to myself after 5 hours of peace SAT proctoring. He has no room to talk.
Greenwald, go off, King, at NBC for refusing to cover the Hunter Biden emails.
Oh my god, the Hunter Biden emails! His emails! They're real desperate for an October surprise, guys. They're trying so hard to pull a 2016 and be like, we gotta do it. And you know, I would almost respect it. It would be disgusting and immoral to manufacture some sort of October surprise. But like, if it was something creative, I'd at least be like, well, that's at least imaginative. Good job at coming up with an interesting story. But with all the might of probably some of the most devious political strategists in the world, all they can come up with is, how about more emails, guys? The emails thing worked in 2016. How about we do more emails again this time? But they're not even emails that are like from Joe Biden. They're Joe Biden's son's emails. How about that? Is that okay? Brilliant. The reason no one's taking it seriously, Sargon, is because it's completely manufactured. It's not a scandal. It's a non-scandal. Please stop. You're embarrassing yourself, which is saying a lot considering you're Carl friggin' Benjamin. Okay? Knock it off.
And the Hunter Biden emails are a treasure trove of just flat-out degeneracy, all on their own.
Degeneracy. Hashtag not a Nazi. Do people realize that when they use the term degenerate as often as people like this, comes off as real fashy, like pretty fashy to constantly be calling people around you degenerate. Pretty gross. Tucker White 94 with 20 bits. Hell, these emails don't tell us anything new about Hunter Biden. It's just regurgitating stuff about him we already knew. Yeah.
Like if my son turns out half as bad as Hunter Biden, I will be a failure as a father.
What do you think Sargon's kids are gonna be like when they're adults? You think they're gonna, like, be reasonable people and recognize that their dad's an absolute monster? Maybe go to social media and be like, hey, here's all the racist stuff my dad has done and said when he doesn't think other people are around. Or do you think they're gonna go full, like, yes, I am also a white nationalist, please? Will probably be, pretty depressing.
Some sort of weird crack addict getting catfished by the Chinese government when he's not being implicated in having underage pictures of his niece or cousin or whatever their relation is. Like, you know, fairly close family relation. And it's right, this is weird, incestuous, child porn, crack smoking, sex addict is what I'm looking at.
This is what they're going with for their fake October surprise. Interesting. Also don't know how it would implicate Joe Biden at all, right? Like, even if all of this was true, which I don't think it is, although Joe Biden's son did have drug addiction issues, like, none of this would make me go, oh my god, now I can't vote for Joe Biden because his son is a creep. Like, people can have kids who are creeps, and it doesn't necessarily make them a creep, right? Seems odd to me that that's the line of attack they're trying to go for on this one.
Someone who is a total slave to their emotions. Like the king of the fucking Kumas. Like this guy who just does not have his life together. A guy who's just like shit in everything. No wonder he looked so nervous when he was in, like, I can't remember which Alphabet news agency was interviewing him doing it, but when he was asked about his being on the board of Burisma, and he looked like a guilty kid, just like, oh god, I'm gonna...
Tucker White 94, 20 bits. At least with the Hillary Clinton emails, it contained damning info about her. What does any of this Hunter Biden stuff have to do with Joe Biden? No idea. I really don't. I don't know what they are even trying to get across with these, right? Like, if you think Hunter Biden is a creep or something, fine. I don't know really much about him as a person, but that's because he's irrelevant to me. He's exactly 100% irrelevant. He's not running for president, guys. His dad is. Like, who... It's just strange. It's such a botched attempt at a scandal. Because the emails thing in 2016, at least in terms of, like, memeability, and I don't mean, like, ahaha internet meme. I mean, like, as an idea to spread to other people, including not only just right-wing crazy people, but, like, centrists and stuff like that. It's a simple narrative. Hillary Clinton stored a bunch of emails on a private server that she's not supposed to do. Simple, easy to understand. It implicates the actual candidate in some way. Fine, right? But then this one, it's just like, Hunter Biden is a bad dude. And it's like, okay, don't know if that's true or not. Don't know anything about him. But if he is, how does that implicate Joe Biden in any way? Seems odd.
going to be found out. It's like, no, I guess I wouldn't be there if my name wasn't Biden. And now I know why. Because there's nothing to him. There's no substance to this guy. He's an addict. He's just like a professional fucking addict. It's disgusting. And it's certainly worth news coverage because it implicates him and, of course, by extension, his father, the big guy, in a whole slew of corruption around the world with various foreign governments. But they don't want to report the story because we haven't seen the sources. Well, gee, I don't want to be the last guy in the room to be like, well, about that piss dossier, then. Did we see any sources on that? No? Right.
Actually, you did. That was this very specific, it was a specific intelligence agent who leaked that. Like, that was the source on that, Sargon. Do you not remember when that happened? It was called the Steele dossier, I think, because that was, like, the name of the agent who leaked it. That's the source. Do you know what source means? Nah? Cool.
Okay, we'll just move on. Moving straight on. Of course, social media is just again, another campaigning arm of Biden's party. Joe Biden fracking ban. Like, this is amazing. Like, the whole, New York Post being shut down. I don't even know if they've got their Twitter account back yet, actually, after releasing the Hunter Biden leaks. Getting their account shut down, all of this being pulled down off social media. I'm sure that whatever disgusting thing Hunter Biden has been shown to have been doing in the past that's been released to Twitter today is being suppressed. I've seen suggestions of things I don't even want to repeat, to be honest, because they might not be true. And that's the thing. It's like, it's all so ridiculous. Like, it seems too good to be true because it seems like if you were going to make up like a movie script of how bad something could be before it finally got released to the world, screwing your underage cousin while smoking crack is pretty high on that list.
It's almost like it's a completely manufactured, made-up thing by a dumb right-wing think tank to try and make up the most damning story possible about a political candidate's son. Weird!
I mean, it sounds like something out of a movie. It sounds ridiculous. And yet...
Close to self-awareness there, Carl. Careful.
This is your son, isn't it, Joe? This is what you raised. God, man. And the text leaks. And one of there was, I don't know, I can't remember the name of the girl, one of the Biden family women who says, yeah, I was definitely abused as a kid, and she's got all of these weird things written in this diary. And I'm like, right, okay, just this is just disgusting family. Disgusting family. And you're at the head of it, Joe. It really makes you look bad. Really makes you look bad. Just saying. But
again, I ask how? How would Hunter Biden being a creep, which I have no substantiating evidence for, let me be clear, and neither does Carl, If he was, how would that implicate Joe Biden? How?
Comparison, Trump appears to be absolutely smashing it. He is... I've been watching as many of his rallies as I can because I just enjoy watching them. They're just fun to watch. Trump should be turning on super chats. He could be funding this campaign easily if he monetized
Christ.
his channel. It's crazy. All of these rallies are just packed out, and they're at airports because he's obviously traveling from thing to thing, and he'll do sometimes 2 a day, it seems. And he just pulls up on the plane, gets out, starts shitposting with the crowd, starts talking to them, telling jokes. A few, sensible political statements that he's reading from the teleprompters. But mostly he's just chilling out, having fun.
Yeah, this is like the only time Trump has been happy, Sargon, in the last 4 years. He thrives on this attention from his weird cult-like fan base. He needs a group of people, sycophantic people, who are going to thrive and suckle on his every word, and he tells a bad joke, and they all, they're uproarious in laughter, and they chant, lock her up, or lock him up, even though it's 2020, and he's like, yeah, these are my people. Like, yeah, Carl, they're crazy people. They're crazy people, Carl. It's frustrating.
Genuinely.
Tucker White 94, because as we all know, children turn out like their parents and aren't at all are not at all individuals. Yeah, stupid. Guarstone Skin, thank you for subscribing. 6-month streak. Trump's family are terrible. His daughter used her connections to get business contracts in China. F Trump and his whole family. There's tons, and that's the thing I don't get. Like, if you want to talk about the families of the candidates, we can do that. And it actually makes sense to talk about with Trump because he put his children in his administration. They're working for the current administration. So you can talk about their record and how it's basically nepotism got them a job at the White House. Like, we can talk about that stuff. I just don't find it to be a productive avenue of discussion as much as it would be if we just talked about, like, the issues, the things Trump has and has not done, the things Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have claimed they will do with their platform. Like, just seems odd. It just seems very strange to me that you could find so little on Joe Biden to hit at. Because you're on the right. Like, if I'm going to talk about Joe Biden, I could talk about crime bill stuff or more fiscal conservative stuff that he's done, right? But those are things that people on the right like, so they can't really hit him on that stuff. Otherwise, it's almost an endorsement to people on the right. So they gotta make stuff up. But they couldn't even think of a convincing lie about Joe, because he's so... because he's so bland. He's just a very, like, milquetoast white dude. Talks about his old friend Corn Pop. You know, like, he's just a weird old grandpa type. So they gotta make shit up about Hunter Biden. It's just a complete dead-on-arrival attempt to slander him. It's very strange.
Seeming to enjoy himself. The crowd seemed thrilled to be there, and the crowds are enormous. Like on one of the events, they were like they had a view from the plane or something like that, or a drone or something that was going ahead, and you could see the crowd snaking, like this thick, long snake of the crowd going back.
Yes, Sargon, we talked about this. The reason the crowds for Trump are so big is because Trump's base is absolutely, what's the word I even want to say? They are rabid to suckle on him. And I'm not even just talking about his private parts. I mean, they'll just get around him and just any little bit of him that they can get. It's very weird. It's very, very weird how devoted they are to him. And it makes me very uncomfortable. Secondly, they don't take COVID seriously. People on the right, like, go from thinking it's not that serious to... it's an outright, like, conspiracy caused by them, and that they're going to, like, they're trying to tank Trump's election by pretending that 200,000 people have died, even though 200,000 people have died. So yeah, they're going to be more likely to show up to rallies and stuff, even though they really, really shouldn't. It's not indicative of the general population in the
There's
United
nothing funny about
States.
the tools of
If
capitalism.
you even want to say there is such a thing. Because obviously there's going to be great variance from state to state and area within state to state. But, like, don't look at Trump rallies and assume that that's indicative of the general populace, because it's not. It's indicative of, like, the 10% of his followers that are, like, absolutely bonkers crazy for him. The people who actually wear the MAGA hats out in public and don't feel like they're pieces of shit. Like, those people will stick with him no matter what. Seek Joe Cool, thank you for gifting 2 subs. Appreciate it. Stephen J. Neptune Man with 20 bits. Republicans, take responsibility for your own actions. Also Republicans. Hunter Biden being bad means Joe Biden is bad. Philosophy Light, I'm excited for politics to be boring again. Me too. Honestly, oh god. After Biden gets inaugurated, I might take just like a week off of politics. Just because I know I can. It'll be nice. It'll be nice and calm. And then we can get back and, you know, criticize Joe Biden for his centrist takes. But after that, at least I'm not worried that a nuke's going to get set off randomly, you know?
And then the area that they've organized is just packed to the gills. And this just keeps happening over and over and over in just all these different places. As you can see from these being taken at like different times of the day and night.
Oh, we watched
you
that
know?
the
And
other
it's
day.
like constant. Wherever he's going, he's getting these massive rallies. And Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are getting almost nobody. Like, nobody is showing up. Where is the energy? If you didn't poll, it would be obvious who's going to win this.
Very scientific, Sargon. Look at all these people in the stands. That's not how you determine things, Sargon. That's not how you determine who's going to vote and who they're going to vote for. That's an incredibly... And I say this not out of, like, hate or anything, but just, like, you need to, like, not do this, because this is going to lead you down a path of incredible disappointment if Joe Biden wins. And you're going to be like, well, I don't understand. There were so many yard signs for Trump, and the rallies were so big. And it's like, well, yeah, but that didn't really take into account all the people who were staying home because of the virus, and also those who really, really hate Donald Trump and just want to get him out, even if it means Joe Biden is the president. I don't know. Again, Trump could win. Go vote, please. Go vote for Joe Biden, right? Like, I'm not going to tell you it's in the bag for Biden. It isn't. Like, it's a close enough race that it could go either way. But what I am saying is, looking at the rallies and trying to determine information from that is a stupid way to do it. There's a reason we have scientific polling. It's because what you look at, like, just in your own narrow field of view, is not going to give you in-depth, valid information in any way, shape, or form. Towing24 with 30 bits. This is why I'm mostly okay with Biden beating Bernie or Warren, because then Trump could just re-socialist and scare the boomer centrists, even with COVID murdering their friends and family. I understand Biden as a strategic move. I understand. I don't know if I necessarily agree with it. I could think you could get a similar advantage by getting people who don't normally vote to come out and vote if we had someone like Bernie and have him be like, hey, we're going to make sure you have health care, we're going to get you college, we're going to, you know, get rid of your college debt, such, you know, popular ideas that don't get covered by mainstream politicians, basically going populist, but like left-wing populism. You could probably bring out a lot of people who don't normally vote for that, but you would lose a lot of boomers and you would lose a lot of centrists, so I don't know. I don't know what the actual polling numbers on like stuff like that would be. I'd imagine the DNC knows, though. Philosophy Light with 69 bits. Nice. Good polls are causing a Biden lead, just like COVID testing is making people more sick. Ethan Sharf 67. Thank you for subscribing with a tier 1 subscription. Appreciate it.
Right? If it wasn't for the polls, there would be no doubt in your mind that your lying eyes wouldn't have any contradiction. And then you get all of the ethnic minority groups that are self-identifying as these groups and saying, you know, X for Trump. There have been like big.
Oh no! He's falling for the like Latinos for Trump meme, or the like African Americans for Trump meme. Don't do it, Sargon. It's not gonna happen.
car rallies in like Florida and Hawaii, like LA and all this sort of thing. Then you get like the Jews for Trump rally in Manhattan. This was amazing to watch. I watched some of the clips of it, and it's these really Orthodox Jews, you know, with the curls and the, you know, all the sort of Orthodox Jew regalia, with these huge Trump flags, just be like, "Fuck you," because Cuomo's targeting them.
No, oh my god. Okay, here's what he's talking about. The Hasidic Jew community in New York City have been ignoring COVID guidelines, like, pretty hardcore. Not wearing masks, going to, like, synagogue and stuff, even when they're not supposed to. Again, this is not targeting them. It's just that, like, all church services and public gatherings over a certain amount, you know, there's limitations and guidelines that you're supposed to follow. The Hasidic community has not been doing so. They've been openly ignoring it. And yeah, the mayor of New York isn't happy about it. For obvious reasons. They're endangering other people and themselves. Sargon and a bunch of other right-wing idiots have been like, oh my god, the New York mayor is targeting Hasidic Jews. And it's like, no, they just need to follow the rules like everyone else. Jesus Christ. It has nothing to do with their religion or their ethnicity. It has zero to do with it. Guys, you just need to take the virus seriously.
Because they're...
If Biden wins and we get a national mask mandate, I cannot wait for all the freaking out these people are going to do. It's going to be insane.
Violating coronavirus lockdowns, as if they don't have a constitutional right to assemble or something.
If it's a public health crisis, no, they don't necessarily have that right. You can limit in situations like this, like, hey, you can't have public gatherings more than a certain amount. That's a thing you can do, Sargon.
Unreal. And so we come to other polling, I guess we'll say, because there are a bunch of polling groups who polled Trump more favorably than Biden. And
oh, check this out. Trafalgar Group. I tweeted about this the other day. So Trafalgar Group are hacks. They're absolute hacks. Their crosstabs got leaked. And basically their polling is complete bunk. They're starting with a result that they would like, that being that Trump will win, and they're working backwards to fit their sample size to make it look like Trump is winning, even though every other pollster says otherwise, at least in places like Michigan. Florida's more of a toss-up. Toween24, they're the same people that caused herpes outbreaks amongst infants because they still did old Jewish customs with the rabbi sucking the blood from the child's brisses and circumcisions. Yes, I remember when that happened. We talked about it on TBR. So basically, the Trafalgar poll found just ridiculous stuff once their crosstabs leaked. Basically, their poll assumes, and I'm not making this up, their poll assumes that 30% of registered Democrats are going to vote for Trump, which is absurd. That is absurd. And their poll assumes that roughly 30% of the black vote is going to go to Trump. And when asked about this, the founder of the Trafalgar Group said, and I'm not making this up, their reasoning that they think 30% of the African-American vote is going to go to Trump is because 50 Cent, the rapper who hasn't been relevant in over a decade, endorsed Trump, which, by the way, was retracted, I think, the next day. But even so, that's why. Trafalgar Group is ridiculous. Let me see what else we got. Tucker White 2094. 20 bits. FYI, the freedom of assembly rights has limits. For example, when your assembly gets to a certain size, then you need a permit to hold the gathering. Yep. Hannah Simp, thank you for subscribing with Prime. Cool name. Philosophy Light. Wow. Leave it to evangelicals to start with the conclusion and work backwards. Yeah, so anyway, Trafalgar Group is ridiculous. Partisan polling, do not take them seriously, please. Antipodian Squid with 100 bits. Guys, I was just in line with other people in a queue for coffee, an actual queue with other real-life actual people. Other people exist. Yeah, it's probably been a while, huh?
Whenever I deal with the leftists on Twitter, there's a known poll that skews right-wing.
Yes, which I just talked about, Sargon. Sargon, do you think 30% of the African-American vote is going to go to Trump? Really? He's going to outperform every Republican candidate in the last 40 years in the black community. Donald Trump. Cool story. At Colston with 20 bits. They really do think that black people are dumb, huh? People like Ben Carson and 50 Cent are seen as, nope. In the black community, no one likes them. Yeah. Ugh.
Okay, but they are winning all of the elections at the moment, aren't they? I mean, it's not the left-wingers winning these elections, is it? So, I don't know. Maybe the polls you're paying attention to that confirm your biases are wrong, and maybe these ones that suggest that the incumbent president, who appears to be widely appreciated by the people who support him, is more popular than the people who don't.
By the people who support him is the important phrase in that statement. Trump has a rabid fan base, but the fan base is not widespread. Donald Trump has, approval numbers have not been high his entire presidency. Even at their height, they were barely breaking even, I think. Donald Trump is not a popular president. The people who like him love him in a very creepy, culty way. But the general public, no, I think most people are frustrated by Trump at this point. Hello, Daddy Sume, welcome.
Bother to turn up for Joe Biden's rallies. I mean, it's just a thought. But Rasmussen has got this commentary they put out today, and this is what inspired this video.
Rasmussen, another right-wing poller, tends to lean right. Not as bad as Trafalgar Group, but yeah, they do tend to lean right.
Yeah, because I really don't want to say, Rasmussen are right because they agree with me, but I think they raise some good points here, and what they agree with is the evidence of my own eyes. Joe Biden appears to have a zombie campaign. He seems to be just running in name only. He seems to have support in name only. But Trump seems to have genuine grassroots, tangible support of people who are going out there, even when it's not the popular thing to do, like Jews for Trump, and they got attacked by Antifa. Once again, the socialists are attacking the Jews. What a shock. Because they're making decisions.
Jesus Christ, Sargon. I'd say you're off base, but you're not even in the right ballpark. Again, Sargon, the reason that the people in the Hasidic community were getting criticized for what they were doing is because they weren't following mask mandates and rules for gatherings meant to protect them and others during the pandemic. It has nothing to do, Sargon, again, with their ethnicity or their religion. Stop being so obtuse. Goth Geek Gaming, thank you for subscribing. Goth Geek Gaming says, don't really have anything to say except I have loved your content since your pre-camera days. Keep up the good work, Hannah. Thank you.
But anyway, so I can't bring myself to believe the polls.
There's nothing funny about
Rasmussen obviously claimed to be one of the most accurate, but who knows?
Philosophy Light with 20 bits. Look it up. Trump's highest approval rating was 49%. Yeah.
They've got some other polls that they talk about in this, though, that are really interesting. Let me just find them. So, Gallup.
Let's look at polls real quick to see where they're at today. Sargon's video was 3 days ago, so let's take a look. 5:38. Latest polls. Poll types: presidential, general election, please. Let's see. General election. This one's Arizona, which has Trump +4. It's a Rasmussen, so it's going to tend to lean a little right. And it's they give ratings to the polls based on their accuracy, by the way, on here too. Oh, we're on a hype train. Thank you. 75% to level 1. Abby, my dudes with 200 bits. Don't have anything to say. Maybe you can watch the new Michael Bay movie trailer on your next Captain Cringe. Oh, God. Okay. Captain Rose with 20 bits. My mom is an extreme Zionist who legitimately believes in so many conspiracy theories that if she understood how they came about, she'd be horrified by the anti-Semitism in the circles she listens to. We're Salvadorian. The Latinos for Trump group is sadly not a meme. It terrifies me. Yeah. I know they exist, but it's not like a majority. Antipodian Squid with 300 bits. Oh, hype. Thank you. Anyway, back at the polls. Let's see, Texas, Trump +4. The polls in Texas have been, like, surprisingly close this cycle. I don't think Texas is going to go blue. You would need the most insane convergence of all sorts of different factors for that to happen. But it is interesting that it's so close. I think Texas is averaging... Let me take a look, actually. 538... You can look by state. Let me see where Texas is at. Trump +4, Trump +1, Trump +4, even Biden, Trump +5, Trump +3. But, like, it's way closer than it has historically been. I think they're saying that by sometime in 2030, Texas will go blue at least once in one, like, election, which is interesting. The demographics of Texas are changing quite a bit as people move from more liberal areas or more left-leaning areas to Texas for tons of tech-related jobs. Ooh, Stone Core Bell, thank you for gifting 5 Tier 1 subs. Appreciate it. Philosophy Light, Hype, 200 bits. Mitchell Drummer with 20 bits. By the way, for those of you playing bingo, we have Degenerate, misreading Study, and grifting.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Let me see if there's anything else that I missed. I don't think so. Cool. 50% level 3 hype train.
There's nothing funny about the tools of
But anyway,
capitalism.
the fact that Biden has basically a third, a 1 in 3 chance of winning Texas is crazy. I don't think he will, but the fact that it's that close is pretty bonkers. Georgia, we have a Biden +2. Ohio, Trump +2. Rasmussen has Biden +1 in Ohio, which is interesting. They tend to lean right, so that actually probably means Biden's up a little bit more. The Morning Consult, which is a BC poll, has Biden up 9 in Ohio. Alaska, of course, is plus Trump. Oh, that's weird. This poll has Trump +9 in Alaska, but this one has Biden +5. That is a huge difference. That's terrible. One of those polls is awful. I'm guessing the Biden one, because Alaska, like, always goes red, I think. Did I miss something? I thought I heard a thing. Nope, didn't miss it. Okay. New Hampshire, we got a Biden +19, Biden +4, Biden +6. Florida, Biden +4. Ooh, A+ polls, too. Nice. Biden +4, +6, +5 in Florida. If he wins Florida, we got it, guys. We're probably got it. A bunch more Florida ones, +6, +5. Alabama. Is this Alabama? Trump +19.
About the tools of capitalism.
Florida, Biden +5. Florida, Biden +4. Maine, Biden +13. You get it. It's a lot of Biden. A lot of Biden stuff in the state polling. Not all of it, but a decent amount. It's quite interesting. I obsess over polls, though, which you shouldn't do. It's not healthy.
Finds Trump's poll improved.
The Undercover Beast with 100 bits. I feel like I need to review the old chick tract Sargon was on. It feels like he's so far gone from back then. Sargon, if you will.
Job approval rating at 46%, close to his all-time high of 49% earlier this year. And when asking a question of not who you want to win, instead who you think will win, Trump tops Biden 56% to 40, 16% point lead.
That's not a helpful metric of who will win, though, Sargon. You understand that? Like, if you're asking people who you want to win in a poll, that's indicative of the general public's voting pattern. If you ask them who they think is going to win, that has no bearing on... That gives you no helpful information, basically. It gives you no helpful information if 16% extra people think Trump is going to win. Because if I'm asked that question, I might even say Trump, but I'm certainly not going to vote for him, and I'm going to do my best to make sure other people vote for Biden. Like, why do you think that people thinking Trump will win is somehow indicative that he will? Like, people are just scared that he's going to win again, because in 2016, the polls were, like, way off, and it was just, like, a crazy snafu where, like, 70,000 votes across a certain number of states flipped it to him. People are afraid the same thing will happen again.
Just not who would you
Philosophy Light as an Alabaman, yeah. I don't know what that was in relation to.
like to win. Who do you think's going to? And yeah, more people think Trump's going to win. I think Trump's going to win. And I keep hearing all these messages of people going, man, I live in a blue district and I'm seeing Trump signs everywhere. You know, it's like...
Again, guys, you can't. You can't do that. You can't look at signs and say, especially in one specific area, because specific areas of the country, regardless of where you are going to lean one way or another, you know? Like, unless you literally live in a county somewhere that's, like, very, very, very 50-50. You can't do that. Unless you can literally count every yard sign in your state, you're not going to get any sort of accurate picture. And even then you're not, because guess what? Most people don't put political signs out. Like, it's the most childish way to view trying to determine who's going to win an election. Like, guys, this is the reason we have scientific polling. So you don't have to make these dumb assumptions. Tanthier, thank you for gifting a sub. Tucker White 94 with 20 bits. Yeah, I'm sure he's getting calls that blue people are seeing Trump signs. I'm sure this totally happened.
Saying, I don't know. When asked, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? 56% of registered voters said yes, compared to 32% saying no. And this is even with the coronavirus. So there are lots of other reasons to think that maybe the just aggregate of polls done is actually not indicative of who's going to win. Now, I might have to eat these words. I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm not saying Trump definitely, but it just seems by all of these sort of revealed preferences that the things that people put energy into that they want.
I think we got level 2. So I'll put 2 hats on. Oh no, you walked in on Hannah and Sargon. Don't worry, we're almost done with Sargon. Woo!
To do that Joe Biden's support is hypothetical while Trump's appears to be absolutely concrete. And
what does that even mean? Hypothetical? It's not hypothetical when people go and vote, Sargon. What are you talking about?
I just can't help but think that he's going to win. I know I'm probably going to make another video like this leading up to the election because of all of the stuff that comes out. And yet, we're supposed to believe that Joe Biden, almost a fucking literal zombie at this point, is supposed to be a shoo-in to win this. I think that the left is setting
Tucker White 94, did you enjoy the Hannah and Sargon peep show? Oh, Jesus.
Themselves up for a catastrophic defeat. I think that they're actually going to get really kicked in this time. Like, it won't just be Trump wins. I think it'll be Trump landslide this time. And that is what I would prefer, but it's not because
Trump may win. He may very well. Obviously, that's a possibility. I have no confidence that it would be a landslide, though. It would be another situation where he'll lose the popular vote and end up winning due to a very small number of votes in key states. That's pretty much his path to victory at this point. Logarth, thank you for subscribing with a 5-month streak.
For it that I'm saying it, because if I genuinely thought that Trump wasn't winning this, then I would say, look guys, I'm 100% MAGA here, but I don't think Trump's going to win. I think Trump's got no hope. Look at these, got hardly any crowds. You know, he's down in the polls. Even if he was up in the polls, he's got no crowds. You know, if his merch wasn't selling, like Trump's merch sells like 100 times better than Biden's. You know, it's like
again because right-wing people who are into Trump are crazy cultists who make Trump their identity. People on the left don't make the politicians they like their entire identity. The closest you get to that is people who are like way too into Bernie. And I voted for Bernie. I like Bernie, but there are some people who are like really into Bernie to an unhealthy level. It's not even close to people who are into Trump. They make that shit their entire identity. They fly Trump flags. They wear the MAGA hats. They talk about it all the time. Merch sales are not indicative of who's going to win the election. Jeez. Wind Chanter, my depression let up today. Have some celebration bits. Thank you. I'm glad you're feeling better. Tucker White 94, with how divided this country is now, I doubt we'll ever see a presidential landslide again, at least not a Roosevelt or Reagan-esque landslide. I'm sure someday, if the United States continues to exist in its roughly current form in the next 100 years, it'll probably happen. But in this exact political climate, yeah, I'd agree. Antipodian Squid, also lefties buy Trump merch, ironically. Nah, I don't think enough to make a difference to their bottom line or anything.
It's mad. Joe Biden doesn't represent anyone, apart from Joe Biden, of course, which is incidentally what Kamala Harris kind of gave away at a rally that she did.
Shady Shroomy with 20 bits. If we aren't, I love If we all aren't I love Obama, Gorl, we're gonna lose.
I think it was yesterday. I watched about the first half an hour of it, and it was really interesting how, I mean, it was boring, obviously, and she is not very...
This candidate isn't dog whistling at all. I'm so bored.
charismatic person, in my opinion. Like, her likability was clearly very low just in the Democratic primaries. You know, wasn't she at like 5% by the time she dropped out and topped at 15%? It's like, that's hardly... I mean, you would have done better with Pete Buttigieg. But she said something really interesting, and I found this to be fascinating. She began her speech by saying, "Are you all going to win this for us?" I was like, oh. The framing is interesting. Because at Trump's rallies, he's not saying this. He's saying things like, you know, "I fight for you, the American people." He'll say, like, "Oh, you're lucky to have me." But I think that's a kind of boomerism, to be honest.
No, that's a narcissistism. That's narcissism. You're thinking of narcissism.
But he
and also Trump's actions don't back up the platitudes. Sargon, they don't.
Puts himself very firmly in the sort of position as if he's standing shoulder to shoulder, rhetorically, with the people who have come to see him. And that, I think, is the main difference. Why people like Trump and why nobody gives a shit about Kamala Harris or Joe Biden. But anyway, like I said, my lying eyes, they just keep deceiving me. If you'd like to support the channel, you can always...
Tiger White 94, the difference is that unlike Trump, Kamala Harris was being honest when she said win this for us. Yeah.
Please check out our merch store where we recommend that you elect more Democrats. Because that's gone so well, hasn't it? You know, I bet the Trump campaign has got some punchy adverts that they're about to launch on everyone. And I bet they've been launching loads. I just haven't been able to follow them because I don't live in America, and so I don't get...
You know the best thing about having ad blocker and also paying for stuff like YouTube Premium, where I never get ads ever, and I, you know, use Netflix and Hulu and stuff. I don't have cable. I've not seen a single political ad this year that I didn't intentionally watch. Holy crap, how do people deal with that shit? It's so annoying. Maya is bored of 20 bits. Hannah, you look good tonight. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Exposed to just like generic American media. But no, I really mean this. I don't understand what people think that the Democrats are going to bring that's going to be good. It seems that they're just liars, just total liars. Here's a fantasy. Will you sell it? Great. We're going to sell a lot. You know, we're going to sell lots to China. We're going to make a lot of money here, but you just have to do this for us, and then we'll do nothing for you. As what was it? Ice Cube found out. He's like, well, we'll talk about your plans after the election. Whereas the Trump campaign were like, right, let's have a talk now. Anyway, see you in the next video, folks.
Wind Changer with 20 bits. MSNBC did a segment asking young women of color about Kamala, and they were flabbergasted when they said she hadn't earned their vote simply by being a woman of color. Yeah, that's stupid. Obviously, that's not the case. People don't vote for people just because they're the same race as them, unless you're, like, dumb. Like, even people who voted for, like, Obama, and, like, it's important, like, oh, the first black president. That's, like, a interesting, important historical moment. But, like, if Obama was, like, a complete shitbag, that wouldn't have been good, and I don't think he would have gotten the votes that he got. There's stuff to criticize about Obama, but he's not, like, an absolute piece of trash like Trump, so... Anyway, so that's Sargon. Basically just another thing where he says he doesn't trust polls. I understand that the polling in 2016 was inaccurate due to their undersampling of non-college educated white people. They've said that they fixed that this year. We'll see what happens when the results come out. But Biden's lead is more sizable than Hillary's was. The polls aren't tightening in the same way, and none of the fake scandals that Republicans are trying to push are gaining traction, like, anywhere, the same way that the her emails thing did back in the day. So I really don't think I don't know. Barring some pretty crazy stuff in the next 1, 2, 3, in the next 5 days, something crazy could happen. But barring that, I don't know. I'm relatively confident Joe will win. We'll see, though. We'll see. It'll be interesting. We'll see what happens, guys. Okay, so let's do Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate has a new video. Let's see what it's about. Is there any way Trump could earn my vote?
There's nothing funny about
He would
the
have to
tools of
basically
capitalism.
change the entirety of who he is as a person and all of his policies to be, like, left in nature, to be leftist. And he'd also, like, that's tough too, because even if he did, I think he's a scumbag as a person, and that matters to me, so I don't know. Will I be streaming the election? No, I will not. Not dealing with that. Unless I'm really feeling okay with it, but I doubt I will. We'll see. But I don't think I will.
Decided that GoldenEye, the movie GoldenEye, is my life story.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
The story of GoldenEye is my life story. Cool. Cool, Tate. Cool. Yeah, I am glad he's not being massaged in this one. Wagroads13 with 100 bits. Don't discount the notion Joe will win, but Trump will steal it with legal shenanigans. Could happen.
There's nothing
We'll
funny
see.
about the tools of capitalism.
Did I see the Joe Rogan lineup? No? I don't know what you're talking about. I know he just had Alex Jones on again, which is stupid, but I don't know anything about it other than that.
I've decided it's basically completely accurate. Someone steals a helicopter and I stop him, and the bitch who tries to
Tate, how many helicopters have you stolen? Or how many helicopters have been stolen from you and you had to go retrieve it? Please, tell me about the time that happened.
squeeze you to death with the thighs, and me and the other bitch who was hot, who was in no other movie afterwards, who was the Bond girl, and me with a gun running around, and the treachery of 006 and blowing up trains. That's basically exactly what I do. In the tape.
Tate, what are you talking about? You hang out with your friends at your McMansion in Eastern Europe all day and fake buying cars on the internet for videos. What are you talking about?
Confidential, a train stopped, and I nearly had to get my laser watch and cut through it. Exactly like GoldenEye, but I didn't. Instead,
You're recounting a time that a train had to stop because a tree branch was on the tracks, as if it is the same as a James Bond movie. There's delusion, and then there's this.
There's nothing funny about the tools of
Winch
capitalism.
Changer with 20 bits. Why did Dave Rubin pick Soundwave, the lamest Decepticon? That's a good question.
with my ninja kick. Long story. So basically, I've decided that GoldenEye is my life story. And then I'm looking at most people's life story, most people who live, you know, like you dorks, who live your normal lives. And I've decided that your life stories are Forrest
Nothing
Gump.
funny about the tools of capitalism.
Forrest Gump has... Did Tate miss the entirety of Forrest Gump? Forrest Gump has, like, an incredibly interesting life. He's involved in every important historical event from, like, the 60s to the 90s, or the 80s. Like, what? He became incredibly wealthy by the end of that movie by becoming an initial investor in, like, Apple computers or something. The Undercover Beast, no massage? Great. Now we know Tate's a misogynist. Jesus Christ.
Now, I know you're thinking, oh, Forrest Gump, that's not too bad a choice, actually, because I get to become a shrimp billionaire and do all these interesting things.
Eoin80, he was too busy banging a chick laser cutting trains to watch Forrest Gump. Of course, how silly of me. Stephen J. Neptune, man, this guy can't be real. He's real, I tell you, he's real.
But no,
Are you stupid or something?
Forrest Gump is actually the story of a man who It's very interesting. If you watch Forrest Gump, I remember this specifically because the beginning scene is a feather. And it's a feather flying through the wind in the air. And what they're trying to show with that feather is that Forrest is the feather and that life has blown him in all these strange directions. And he has no...
I'm surprised Tate accurately assessed the meaning of the feather in Forrest Gump. It's the easiest symbolism to get, but I'm honestly surprised Tate got it. He barely understood a Spider-Man movie when he talked about Spider-Man that one time, so I'm moderately impressed by Tate's ability to see a thing and understand what it means.
No real control over the directions. He kind of just... He's lucky and unlucky. He's fortunate and misfortunate. And he just kind of... His life is just...
He looked it up on Wikipedia. Perhaps.
The result of being blown in all these random directions.
That's because Tate's life is Forrest Gump. I don't think Tate's smart enough to be Forrest Gump. Abby, my dudes with 20 bits, I want to watch more Tate movie reviews now. He can be the next Doug. Like, and Forrest Gump, by the way, is a really nice guy, and Tate is the opposite of that.
Capitalism.
Thank you. Oh, no. Maybe I was wrong. Did I miss something? Hold on. No, I didn't. Okay.
And he doesn't actually have any influence over his life. If you look at GoldenEye, Bond makes things happen. That's...
No. Okay, no. Forrest does have agency in his life, and it is often that agency that helps him. Even though there are a series of circumstances that help him, he also is, like, a good soldier, even though he's not the brightest guy. He follows orders, and he was able to save people. That's an action he took, and that was agency within his own life. He wanted to go become a shrimp boat captain because it was the dream of him and his friend from the army. So he goes and he does that. Like, he was a college football star because he could do it, right? Like he becomes a ping pong champion. He decides to run across the country. Like, there are obviously bits of fate that come into the story of Forrest Gump, but, like, he's not an inactive character. He has agency in his story.
That's who I am. I make shit happen. You guys are just feathers in the wind. Do.
And yeah, that's a good point. Bond is a spy. He does what he's told to do, whereas Forrest Gump is just a dude living his life, doing what he wants. Yeah, Tate didn't pick very good movies here to compare things to.
You might land here and it's good, you might land here and it's bad, who knows? Because you have no genuine grit and no ability to fight through the outside life forces. But the reason Forrest Gump is your life story is because Forrest Gump is the story of a man who falls in love with some bitch, who runs off to be a hoe, and then, once he's a shrimp billionaire, she comes back as a single mom with AIDS.
I think the director actually said it wasn't AIDS, that she had something else, like some other communicable STD, but it wasn't AIDS, even though the movie, I feel like, makes it seem like it's AIDS, but could be wrong.
And he
some kind of hepatitis, was it? I don't know.
Fucks her and gets AIDS. That's the end. This is the unspoken ending of Forrest Gump. That bitch dies. And it's him and his son at the end at the bus. Oh, well, I'm going to put you on the bus, son. It's supposed to be a happy ending. Anyone with a brain is actually sitting there thinking, no, now Forrest is going to die.
No, he doesn't. There's a sequel book. He's fine. He joins NASA and ends up on a desert island with a monkey. Don't read the sequel book. EON80, this dude is living a midlife crisis, not having one. He just is one. Yikes from me. You guys don't know about the Forrest Gump book? Okay, so the first Forrest Gump is a book, and then the book has a sequel. Forrest Gump sequel book. Let's go over the events in the Forrest Gump sequel book. It's called Gump and Company. Let's just go over the plot, synopsis. Yeah, I don't have better things to do today. Let's read the synopsis for the Forrest Gump sequel book. In 1980, the shrimp market has exploded, and Forrest can't keep up with demand. Adding to Forrest's troubles, Lieutenant Dan sells off his share of the Bubba Gump Shrimp Company in order to fund a swanky retirement, and the company endures labor disagreements. Forrest comes to the docks one morning to find unoccupied travelers, and is met by only Bubba's father, who sadly reports to Forrest, "I'm afraid to say you have been ruined." To make ends meet, Forrest takes a job as a janitor in a strip club in New Orleans. By chance, one of the club's best customers is a rough football player for the New Orleans Saints known as Snake, quarterback Ken Stabler, who used to play football for the University of Alabama alongside Forrest. Snake fears for his career as the Saints are having a horrible season and recruits Forrest for the Saints. Forrest is unsure of playing in the NFL, citing how the players are much bigger than in college and how, with all that gear, you look like a man from Mars or something. Forrest is astute about health issues, noting that, as he has aged, some of his famous running ability has snapped, but agrees to run on the basis of providing for himself and his ailing wife, Jenny. Forrest does have a somewhat successful career in pro football, but is soon subject to the tactics of sports agents. In the middle of a game, Forrest is told that Jenny has died. He tells the Saints that he cannot be at the next game, so he can deliver the eulogy at her funeral. The Saints management believe this to be a holdout tactic, and he is cut from the team. Forrest Gump, in his, 40s, in his 30s at minimum, becomes an NFL player. Again unemployed, Forrest sells encyclopedias door to door, working for a questionable man known as Slim. Little Forrest points out the encyclopedias are inaccurate, but when Forrest points this out to Slim, he's told just to make sales, not check for verification. On his sales route, Forrest comes across a manor owned by Hopewells, where Mrs. Hopewell hopes to begin an extramarital affair with Forrest, while her husband is occupied by research and development work. When told to help himself to anything in the kitchen, Forrest sees a can of Coca-Cola, but they don't taste like what he's used to, causing Forrest to experiment with different foods to better the recipe. This gets noticed by Mr. Hopewell, but Forrest cannot remember the ingredients added, and Forrest is given a new job in Coke's research and development department. This proves tiring as Forrest is hounded to recreate the formula. The joke is that Forrest Gump made new Coke. Do you guys remember new Coke? Jenny's ghost appears. This is like Hamlet, folks. Jenny's ghost appears, telling Forrest his job is not for him, as he is simply being used for his bosses to climb the promotional ladder, and his original concoction was a fluke. Forrest decides to feign rediscovering the formula to their satisfaction, and the premiere of New Coke is a gala event in Atlanta, Georgia. People admire the formula until one little boy says it's awful, inciting an angry, displeased crowd. Forrest escapes the fracas by jumping aboard a train in the switchyard, which he rides out of the country. I wish they'd made this into a movie just because it's really bad, and I really like bad movies. Forrest and his son get jobs at a pig farm owned by Mr. McVicker. Little Forrest notes how pig feed can get expensive and recommends using something that no one else wants: garbage. Forrest takes note of how much garbage a nearby army base produces and offers to remove it. To his surprise, the base's commanding sergeant major is a black man who served with Forrest and Bubba in Vietnam, known as Sergeant Krantz. The pig feed idea soon becomes the means of solving the energy crisis by using pig dung as power, with Little Forrest helping a team of engineers to build the world's first pig power plant. Oh god. However, on the day of the ribbon cutting, the power plant suffers a meltdown of sorts when an explosion leaves the audience covered in dung. Forrest escapes by himself, hopping another train to Washington, D.C. He's visited again by Jenny's ghost, where he admits the meltdown was due to his failure to pay attention to detail and check the regulator valves. Jenny says that Forrest will have to swallow his pride and admit to Little Forrest that he messed up, but Forrest protests. It may make him a bad parent to do so. This is beautifully terrible. Yes, it is. We're gonna get through this whole synopsis. I'm sorry, everyone. Once at Union Station in Washington, Forrest sees a homeless, handicapped man who says he is Lieutenant Dan, who's fallen in with those who took advantage of him and absconded with his retirement money. Oh no, not Lieutenant Dan! Leaving him bankrupt. On top of that, Dan has become half-blind. Forrest, not wishing to see Dan homeless, says he will work something out. Forrest soon meets with Marie Colonel, who recruits Forrest into a clandestine mission to Iran. They meet the president, who Forrest thinks may have been a cowboy or an actor. President Reagan congratulates Forrest on winning the Medal of Honor, and when Forrest simply states, "I just ran," the president remarks, "The report said it was while you were rescuing 6 or 7 of your fallen men." On the mission itself, they meet Ayatollah Khomeini. The mission is discovered, and everyone disavows responsibility, save Forrest, who is jailed. We're reading the synopsis to Forrest Gump 2. Sometime later, Forrest and the other prisoners are eligible for a work release program, to which they are put to work under a religious rehabilitation at Holy Land, a religious-based theme park where all the attractions are based on Bible stories. Due to his size, Forrest is cast as Goliath in a daily reenactment of the famous fight, but he finds the work harmful as he is constantly hit with rocks from the guy who plays David. Why do they actually throw rocks at him? And who keeps oh no! Okay. He finds work harmful as he is constantly hit with rocks from the guy who plays David, and who keeps muttering about Jodie Foster. Finally deciding he has had enough, Forrest one day takes matters into his own hand, throwing his rival across the arena. In doing so, he accidentally causes the park's circuitry to go haywire, resulting in mayhem, and the Reverend to be exposed as having an affair with his secretary. Okay. So the guy he's talking about muttering is the guy who tried to assassinate Ronald Reagan. Because Forrest Gump has to know everyone who's important in history. It's the Ark Encounter, pretty much. I'm addicted to 20 bits. What is Forrest Gump 2? What is 1? Just tuned in and I smell burnt popcorn. Is this dementia or is this a stroke? Wing the Ultimate Nug with 20 bits. Did this predict Arkland? Bible theme parks have existed for a while. It's about Jim Baker. I don't know who Jim Baker is. Forrest is spirited away by a man whom Forrest thinks is Mr. Bazowski and put in a nice section of New York City. Forrest's new boss says he has been studying him for some time and wants him to push papers on Wall Street. Forrest is suspicious of making $250,000 a year just to sign papers, but figures he can take care of little Forrest. While at one restaurant frequented by celebrities, Forrest and his son are talked up by one young celebrity filming Big, who makes remarks such as, "Life is a box of chocolates," or "Stupid is as stupid does," which both Forrest Sr. and Jr. consider strange. Forrest Gump in Forrest Gump 2 meets Tom Hanks, which is confusing. Food Bucket Man? Okay, I'm not familiar with who that is. Forrest is also given an attractive brunette secretary. Forrest fails to see the intended reason for the secretary, at first treating her as an employee, but eventually gives in her advances when she plays herself as lonely. One night after lovemaking with his secretary, Forrest is visited by Jenny's ghost, who is not upset that he slept with another woman, considering she is dead. But in that, he has not taken the time nor effort to read what he is signing and that trouble is ahead. Oh, Jim Baker is a Christian televangelist apocalypse prepper. Okay, gotcha. Forrest Gump 3. Forrest Gump attends summer camp with the 9/11 hijackers. Jesus. Soon afterwards, Forrest's boss, along with his compatriot Mr. Milkhead, are arrested and put on trial. It has been revealed to Forrest that he was going to be the fall guy as he signed the paperwork for all the shady deals. The three are persecuted by an overzealous lawyer. Is that supposed to be prosecuted? Whom Forrest thinks acts like he's the mayor. The trial's soon disrupted with news of a crash and pandemonium ensues. Forrest is knocked out in the mayhem, waking up in his penthouse to be met by 2 military police officers who tell him that due to an error in being medically released while in Vietnam, his enlistment has yet to expire, and he's back on active duty. He's taken from New York to a remote post in Alaska while his son stays behind. We're almost done, guys, I promise. Antipodian Squid, I mean, that's awfully big of Jenny, not being upset on account of being dead. Most ghosts would be pissed. True. Forrest Gump 5. Forrest creates Godzilla versus Desostroya! Forrest considers Alaska a nice change of pace from the superficiality of Manhattan, but is worried about being separated from his son and pays exorbitant shipping fees to send the little Forrest to an Inuit totem. By chance, Forrest also runs into Mr. McVicker, who lost his pig farm due to Forrest's dung power accident and has moved to Alaska. McVicker is surprisingly forgiving, saying he wanted to be near the sea, but is also a heavy drinker, and after a riotous party with Forrest, the two commandeer an oil supertanker. Forrest accidentally crashes the tanker when trying to subdue McVicker. In the environmental hoopla that ensues, the army spirits Forrest out of the States and decides to quiet his involvement as court-martialing a Medal of Honor recipient would look bad. Forrest is then assigned to the reputed worst job in the army, cleaning mud off the tank treads in West Germany. Thank you, The Undercover Beast, for the 100 bits. I know we're almost done. Just want to give everyone another moment to catch their breath. Thank you. And then Memo Addicted with 20 bits. Forrest, 2016. Forrest runs for president in a wig and orange face. Oh, wait, that's real life. Well, in West Berlin, Forrest is reunited with Sergeant Krantz, who is now working alongside him. And he is now known as Private Krantz, as he suffered a separate misfortune. Krantz said that back in Alabama, they used Forrest's idea of selling organic trash to the local farmers and made a windfall budget, celebrating with a new club and hiring famous exotic dancers. The commandeering general stood atop a table and had his hair lopped off by a ceiling fan, getting him in an awkward explanation with his wife. Similar to Forrest, the army decided to toss away Krantz by reducing his rank and sending him to Germany. Forrest, however, is glad to be reunited with his Vietnam buddy, and both men laugh at the turn of events. Forrest also meets an attractive blonde woman named Gretchen, who works in a beer hall. Originally from East Germany, Gretchen was spirited to the West, but her family still remains in the Soviet zone. Forrest and Gretchen start dating, but Forrest suggests buying little Forrest an Oompa horn. Gretchen thinks he cannot afford such a gift on a private salary, and suggests better rapport could be built through writing letters explaining his situation in Germany. Despite Gretchen's concerns, Forrest shells out $800 for the horn, but considers it a better deal as he did not get ripped off for shipping as he did in Alaska. What? Yeah, we'll talk about the thing at the bottom in a minute. When Forrest's background in pro football is discovered, he gets recruited for the Sauerkrauts, the unit's football team, to play against an intelligence unit, the Wiesbaden Wizards. Forrest certainly does not consider it the extent of when he played in the
There's nothing funny about
New
the
Orleans
tools of
Saints, but
capitalism.
noted the Wiesbaden Wizards sure knew every play pattern. During the game, Forrest punts the ball, which flies over the Berlin Wall, causing another turn of events where people in both East and West Berlin start breaking the wall with sledgehammers. That's right, Forrest Gump brought down the Berlin Wall. Gretchen is overjoyed to be reunited with her loved ones, but Forrest is chewed out by the base commander. Forrest's protests it should be celebrated that the Cold War is ending peacefully, only to be told the Cold War provided the backdrop for choice postings and espionage events, which Forrest has ruined the rationale for. Forrest is deployed to the Persian Gulf War, where his tank crew captures Saddam Hussein, Norman Schwartz, and shocked at this. While privately praising such initiative, he remarks they got all of them in trouble with President Bush, as it was not in orders to get Saddam, and orders Hussein returned. They do so, taking Hussein to the outskirts of Baghdad. However, right afterwards, they're hit by friendly fire. Forrest and Krantz flee to safety, but not Lieutenant Dan, who says his time has come, like all his ancestors who died in the American War. Forrest starts harvesting oysters and builds it into a successful business with the help of Forrest Jr. and all his old contacts. Dan's death is ironic given his oft-mentioned enthusiasm for oysters. The office decor includes the Jonathan Swift quote, "He was a bold man that first ate an oyster." When thinking about investing the proceeds, he meets Bill and Hillary Clinton at Whitewater. The business has been threatened by locals angry that the competition was racially integrated, and Forrest defends Krantz against bullies. The final chapter deals with Forrest Forrest arguing with Forrest Jr., who was taken up to adolescent rebellion by clandestinely drinking beer, and Forrest Sr. laying down the law in an old-fashioned way. Forrest also marries Gretchen, and the story gets put into a film, causing Forrest to remark, well, you know that one. When David Letterman makes the mark about Forrest Sr. being the most lovable idiot in America, Forrest Jr. chides him for talking that way about his father, and the story ends with Letterman being hit with a spitball on stage. Ah. So that's Forrest Gump 2. Jesus Christ. Possible film projects. A sequel had been in the works due to the success of the first book and film, but was delayed after the 9/11 attacks and languished in development hell. The script for the sequel was submitted on September 10th, 2001, a day before the attacks! So, never forget, everyone. If it weren't for 9/11, we might have a Forrest Gump sequel that's quite bad. Jesus Christ. Can we just treat this like we treat J.K. Rowling now? Where was the monkey? Was that in the first book, maybe? Forrest Gump monkey. Okay. It was in the first book, was the monkey thing. Apologies. They took it out of the movie, obviously. 9 insane plot points from the Forrest Gump sequel. No, where's the monkey? Where's the monkey? Forrest Gump wiki. Sue refers to 2 orangutans associated with Forrest Gump's flight into space on the multi-orbital pre-planetary subgravitational inter-spheroid spaceflight training mission. Sue is the name of a female orangutan from the jungles of Sumatra or someplace who was planned to accompany Forrest Gump and Major Janet Fritsch on a trip to space. It was to be the 3rd time she was flown into space after the arrival of the second male Sue. The first Sue was never referenced again. After the flight is delayed an hour, though to be canceled, but then reinstated, some confusion ends when Sue is found not to be present on the ship, but in her place, blah, 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 blah. Let me see, where does it get to the part? The male Sue causes havoc on the spaceship, eventually causing it to crash into New Guinea. Sue and Forrest befriend each other as they work farming cotton for a tribe of cannibals. When NASA finally rescues them, Major Fritsch decides to run off into the jungle to be with her lover, Gruruk. And a tearful Sue yearning for more natural habitat follows as well. So that's in the first Forrest Gump book, that he goes into space with a monkey and then they crash and have to deal with cannibals. The movie changed a decent bit about the book, if you don't know. MMO Addicted with 20 bits. You know, thank your girlfriend for having to read this. If anyone ever finds Vbrank Seasley Jude with English subtitles, watch it. It's like a good Ocean's 11 filmed in Poland in 87. One of the best Polish movies. It's centered around art forgery. Okay. Boy. So yeah, the Forrest Gump books are weird. I'm surprised Robert Zemeckis turned the book into like a good movie. Back to Tate for his closing thoughts on Forrest Gump, I guess.
Now he has AIDS, and that's going to be an orphan kid. What a sad story. What a shit life. You finally become a shrimp billionaire because you couldn't...
Tate, you fool! He can't die of AIDS. He has to invent new coke and make the Berlin Wall fall down. Tucker White 94. That all sounds like cocaine-fueled fan fiction. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Couldn't resist that used-up pussy from the drug addict. You now got AIDS. You literally got AIDS. Not like it as in making it will give you AIDS. Like actually you got them. So Forrest Gump is the story of a man with no serious life control who fell in love with a hoe and the hoe ruins his life. Literally ruins his life completely. So if my life is GoldenEye, your life is Forrest Gump.
Tate's an interesting guy. What is wrong with Andrew Tate, legitimately? Like, Tate, I haven't seen Star Wars. Guys, have you seen this tweet thread? It's pretty amazing. This is Tate's Twitter account, if you don't know. Forrest Gump Omegaverse fan fiction. Oh, Jesus Christ, no. Let's not bring the Omegaverse stuff up, shall we? Mitchell Drummer with 20 bits. You missed people saying this earlier. Hepatitis C. Luckily, Winston Groom shed light on this matter in 95 sequel Gump and Company. The author made it clear that Jenny dies of Hep C. She contracted the disease through her drug abuse, and the virus was indeed unknown until 1989. Gotcha. So Tate has this Twitter thread that's pretty infamous for how stupid it is. So let's take a look, since we're doing Tate anyway, and I spent so long on Forrest Gump. We'll do some more Tate to balance it out. Never seen Star Wars. None of them. Never will. Oh my god, you're missing out. Maybe you're missing out on being a multi-millionaire. Keep your movie. And then it's a picture of him next to his Bentley.
Nothing funny about the tools
And
of
his license
capitalism.
plate, his vanity license plate says, T8 Sexy. Tate Sexy. The Twitter thread goes on. Not your car. It has my last name, Tate. T8 on the number plate. Too much Star Wars makes you dumb. Here he is speeding in his car very dangerously. What's wrong with him? Narcissistic personality disorder and enough money to influence others to enable him? Probably true. Guys, I have more cars than I stand next to, too. This is a completely wrong... No, he says, guys, I have more cars that I stand next to. But it's the wrong form of two? Incorrect, Tate. If you want to learn how to make money online in between watching Dork Wars, go to CobraTate.com. Everyone who's ever watched Star Wars in human history is absolutely dirt poor. No exceptions. Only I can save you. I teach you how to make money online here. Tate, George Lucas has more money than you will ever have in your life. What are you talking about? Like, what? There are plenty of rich people who like Star Wars.
Capitalism.
Tate's not GoldenEye. He's Dr. No. I don't know enough about James Bond to get that. This is this Twitter thread has the same energy as this, and then there's a link. Hold on.
Single's life is great. Beer in the bathroom. And
Capitalism.
I sleep in a big bed with my wife.
oh, yeah.
And how many of them are completely paid off? How stresses he when the time to pay them comes off? I think Tate has enough money to pay his sycophants. Even watching Star Wars trailer may leave you homeless on the street with AIDS. Only I have the path to absolute financial freedom. Do not follow the Jedi. Follow Jesus. Learn how to get unlimited girls and make unlimited money here. CobraTate.com. And then it's a picture of Tate, but he's superimposed onto Jesus. I skipped over the best part of that clip. I can't do television shows and stuff. I can't play movies and TV very much. Women hate you. They hate you because you've watched Star Wars. I can correct this. My PhD program teaches you how to get unlimited women. Read reviews for yourself. Has a girl ever tattooed her name on you? No. It's because you've watched Star Wars. Luckily, I teach you the secrets to the female mind. Not only how to get them, but how to make them do anything you say. Change your life today. And then there's a link to his thing. Do you have cool pictures with cigars? With piles of money? On tropical islands? No? You spend too much time watching Dork Wars. Luckily, you can join my war room and supercharge online money-making today. Read reviews yourself, and then it's him. Smoking cigars with his, I think that's his brother, because he's talked about his brother before. And then, that's him with money. This isn't pathetic to show off at all. You know what they say, if you can't make money on the stock market, teach people how to make money on the stock market. Same thing. What else? I confirm, am richer than anyone who's ever seen Star Wars ever. Even the inventor of Star Wars is a penny-pitching little bitch compared to the awesome, near incalculable power of my bank account. Luckily, I will teach you to do the same.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Amazing. Amazing. Jousters and Hannah, I can only give you ad biddies the next couple of weeks. I was sick for a while and missed too many days of work to amount to a substantial paycheck. Hate being poor. I'm glad you're streaming, though. Well, thank you for, like, doing the ad bits anyway. I appreciate supporting the show. Tucker White 94. I'm sorry you were sick, by the way. Tucker White 94. Hate to say it, but not even Donald Trump is this insecure. Probably true. Logarth with 20 bits. Dr. No wanted to destroy the U.S. space program. It was a stretch. Sorry. Reagan did start an Air Force project called Star Wars, though. True. He goes on at Tate Speech YouTube channel. I often talk about how I've never seen Star Wars. Adoring females arrive at my house naked, wet. And then he has a fake WhatsApp conversation. Where a woman says, I think you're the most disgusting man I've ever met. I'd never date a guy like you. You're arrogant, rude, and you write horrible things on the internet. I've seen your website, cobratate.com. You think you know how to get girls. You'll never get me. And then he responds, I've never seen Star Wars. And she responds, OMG, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Can I suck your dick? Which is definitely how this would play out, for sure. This is so pathetic. Every day, millions of dollars should be deposited into your bank account. They never make it because you've watched Star Wars! They turn around and decide to go into the bank of someone who's not a fucking dork. I can make you rich. CobraTate.com. MMO Addicted with 20 bits. I'll disagree with you here, Hannah. Tate would not shill his shitty course so hard if he was in a really financially stable situation. He was used to his MMA stuff bringing him money and got reckless, hence moving to a very cheap country. He has to maintain an illusion of overwhelming success to keep scamming people for his stuff. I've analyzed many such schemes. I had a hand in getting one dismantled. That sounds right to me. He's definitely living above his means. I have no doubt Tate has more money than me. Like, no doubt whatsoever. But he doesn't have as much money, I think, as he lets on. And a lot of it gets put into dumb stuff like cars, so he can look rich, so he can use that as advertising for his website so he can get more money. He can't be serious with those tweets, right? I can't for the life of me believe anyone does this without trolling. I mean, what do you mean by serious? He's definitely being like... I think he knows people are reacting to this and find it funny, so he's, like, tweeting it, but he definitely believes the things he's saying. You couldn't write a character this bad. If we presented this to a creative fiction professor, they would tell me nobody is this insecure. I can't believe this is real. And then Logarth with 20 bits, the only wet, naked females showing up on Tate's doorstep are of the canine variety. Jesus. That's not true. I'm pretty sure he also hires escorts, so... on my Instagram, you'll see I never mention Star Wars. Ever! This is how I sleep with your mother's sister girlfriend. My penis is... My penis is heinous, large, veiny, yet females you love adore my penis because I've never seen Star Wars! I've never heard a penis described as heinous before. What the heck is wrong with him? This is me in Switzerland with a female. You've never heard of females before because you watch Star Wars. This car is an Aventador. On the floor is something called money. I can teach you about these things. And then it's a picture of a woman posed to look like she has fallen out of a car. And a bunch of money spilled everywhere. Weird that she just had a bunch of money in her purse, completely free, not in a wallet or anything, but alright. This video is me discussing an English lady running away from an old Nepalese lady trying to kill her. Notice the English lady's son runs away and doesn't protect her. Her son is a weak little F-slur. Her son watched Star Wars. Alone in my hotel with Aston Martin key and my hub lot and my solid gold iPhone, I thought to myself, I've never seen Star Wars. I blinked, and then a girl appeared. I can teach you to have money, and women exactly the same. Learn the secrets. Tate is every high school jock stereotype. Actually, scratch that. He's every film high school jock stereotype. Johnny Lawrence from Karate Kid, but in real life. Sorry for flexing on you broke boys. I know you're upset, but you're about to get real mad. I'm at a hotel, about to make your... I'm at a hotel, about to take your mama to the dark side. I'ma use the Force, nice and slow. That's right, I am your father. Tate, have you seen Star Wars or not? These are all Star Wars things. Philosophy Light chat, is it gay to watch Star Wars? I can conclude based on my study of one, I enjoy Star Wars, and I am also bi and trans, so yes, Star Wars makes you very gay. When you've never seen Star Wars, you can snap baseball bats with your shin. My penis is exceptionally large. It's difficult to describe. So huge, yet so beautiful.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Oh no. I hate to bring up Omegaverse again, but Tate is like the worst alpha trope personified. Oh god.
There's nothing funny about the tools
Stephen
of
J. Neptune
capitalism.
Man of 20 bits. Even Johnny gets humbled at the end of Karate Kid and hands Daniel the trophy himself. You're alright, LaRusso, you're alright. You should watch Cobra Kai on Netflix. It's pretty good. It's a sequel to Karate Kid, basically.
There's nothing funny about the tools of
All the
capitalism.
Karate Kid movies. MMO Addicted with 20 bits. My involvement was pretty minor, but we had a Poland's youngest millionaire who shilled fake meds and scammed investors. At first it seemed legit, and I picked his company to analyze for a subject at uni while it was still small. After meeting with the idiot and having a lot of BS thrown my way, I decided to go to my professor with my worries about this, causing him to report it to our financial commission. Therefore, it got revealed his medicine was not real. That's amazing. Good job. Have I heard of a Serbian film? Yeah, I've seen a Serbian film.
There's nothing funny about the tools of
Also
capitalism.
dating a lady, which is gay. Yes, absolutely. Antipodian Squid can confirm everyone I know that loves Star Wars is LGBT and therefore it's gay to like Star Wars. True. Arena's 3 with 150 bits. Hannah, currently I've got my 2 cis het parents telling me how I should be coming out to my grandparents. I'm trans. Can the straights just not?
There's nothing funny
Yeah,
about the
when I
tools
still
of
talk to my mom, that was a thing too. Like I talked about maybe coming out to her parents, and she was like, "Can you just wait until they die and not tell them?" That was pretty rude. Wind Chanter with 20 bits. Your and Jake's streams have helped me come to grips with my repressed sexuality, that and the furry community. Ooh woo. I'm slowly starting to come to grips with the fact that I'm bi and possibly pan. Right on. Cool. A Serbian film. Serbian film is gross, and it's just an attempt to be like, aha, look how shocking we can make our movie. It's not a good movie. It's not. I wouldn't even recommend it. And I'm someone who, like, I really like the Human Centipede movies, at least the first two, because they're really stupid and schlocky and bad. But I like them. But like a Serbian film, and that's actually how I heard about a Serbian film, because I was like, okay, I liked, the Human Centipede movies. They're silly, they're stupid,
funny about
they're
the tools of
gross.
capitalism.
Is there any other movies that are kind of the same kind of thing? And a Serbian film came up, so I went and watched it, and I was like, oh god, they're just really trying to be edgy here. Pretty bad stuff. MMO Addicted. The fact his aunt worked at our equivalent of the FDA and let him his fake meds slip by. He started shilling stock trading and stuff like this, photos with expensive stuff and selfies with lawyers going all, I will beat this fake slanderer, and turned out it was all financed with a ton of shady loans. Last I heard of him, he ran away to Belarus and is hiding. Yikes. That'd be an interesting end to Tate's story. For sure. Anything from Eli Roth is terrible. Eli Roth didn't make a Serbian film, But yeah, Eli Roth makes some pretty bad stuff.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Don't forget that when you stopped talking to her, she left you a message that she was ready for you to tell her parents now, even though you weren't ready. Yeah. Yeah. Manipulative. She's manipulative. It's a shame. When the Flower Girl 13 with 100 bits, I came out as NB to my trans friend, and now she thinks I'm going to take HRT. I don't know how being NB also makes me trans. Some people who are NB take hormones. A lot don't. It just depends on what people are comfortable with. And NB people are typically considered part of the trans community, even though they're not like binary trans folk. Like, it's still a thing. Although if you don't want to identify as part of the trans community, you don't have to. It's just often it gets grouped in. What's NB? Non-binary. Oh, gotta go back up. Okay. He goes on. The dork army of Star Wars fans got their biggest, strongest nerd to fight me in a bid to defend the honor of Star Wars geeks everywhere. I used the Force on his bum bare-ass head. There isn't a Star Wars fan alive who could resist my awesome physical prowess. This is the kind of life you live if you've never seen Star Wars. Quickly, go back in time. Don't watch dork movies. Visit CobraTate.com and learn the secrets of wealth. Imagine the coolest man you've ever met. That's right, close your eyes. Imagine hard. You see my face, don't you? My beautiful face. Yes, you're... Yes, you're wet now. It's okay. It's okay. I've never seen Star Wars! Look at this loser. MMO addicted with 20 bits. Wait, NBs are? Huh. Oh, well, that part of my identity is still in the trunk label. Do not open until I leave Poland and can safely explore myself. Understandable. The car you love, the man you love. You've seen the Lambo and the Aston already in this thread. Notice the Ferrari. That's right. Cry. Cry, little dorks. Star Wars did this to you. Star Wars betrayed you. You could have been me. Learn how. And then it's him in his yard with his cars. I will PayPal you $1 as many times as you want. Just tweet your PayPal address to me with the line, I hate Star Wars. That's hilarious. He goes on, I have all the sex because I've never seen Star Wars. There is no sex left for any other male. You'll die childless. I will impregnate every female alive. Repopulate the earth with my brilliant genetics, never polluted by dork wars. Luke, I will be everyone's father. I'm dying.
There's nothing funny
Yes!
about the tools of capitalism.
Want to bet Tate was made fun of at school for not seeing Star Wars and now takes it out on everyone? I have no idea what his issue is. Tucker White 94, is that offer still going? I'll happily say I hate Star Wars to get some free money from Tate. No, no, it's not. It was 2 hours and it was in 2019. Antipodian Squid with 20 bits. Those of us NBs that don't necessarily identify as explicitly trans will often still explain to people that we come under the trans umbrella as a qualifier because we often get shit from both sides. But you're trans, you aren't cis, so you're trans, or but you're non-binary trans, so you're not trans enough. Personally, I'm just over here like, gender is icky, please keep it away from me. That's stupid that you guys get shit from, like, anyone. I don't care. It's, you know, do you. It's great. She said she didn't want to cheat on Cheesy with Mr. Yeezy, but I lean in real close, whisper in her ear sexily, I've never seen Star Wars. Ooh, oh my god. I've never felt like this way. Oh my god. And then it's a picture of a badly photoshopped picture of him with Kim Kardashian. It's just a video of him. Look close, very close. She has Tate tattooed on her hip, But how, think the dorks. They wasted their time wasting dork wars instead of learning from the master. You are wasting your life. You could be like me. Have you seen Star Wars? No? Good. You don't need my help. Yes? Okay. Answer below. Are you rich? And then there's a poll, but both answers are no. CobraTate.com holds life secrets. How to have beautiful women like in my pictures. How any man can run porn and webcam companies for huge profits. How anyone can get verified on Instagram like me. 10% off any products. 10% off, blah, blah, 50 hours of knowledge and examples in video format. How to change your life. More women, more money. Undo what Star Wars did. Use discount code Star
Funny about the
Wars.
tools of capitalism.
Oh, no. Wind Chanter. I don't know what non-binary is at this point, and I'm too afraid to ask. You're definitely going to have to get that answer from someone who is non-binary to get a better overview than I could give you. And basically, it's someone who doesn't identify with male or female as their gender, right? But if you want more than that, you'd have to talk to a non-binary person. Towing 24 after Tate, can we talk about Glenn Greenwald going ultra chud yeeting from his own company because he's a crypto fascist and his own editors wouldn't let him push the Hunter Biden lies? I'm not overly familiar. Maybe though. Mitchell Drummer with 50 bits. Tate is the definition of toxic masculinity. Oh yeah, for sure. The revolution begins. Soon everyone will have it. The movies will stop being made. Dorks will masturbate to something else. The franchise will collapse. And all will hail Tate, the man with the golden voice and velvet face. The most brilliant man alive. Star Trek is totally different. Star Trek is... Oh my god! Star Trek is so much nerdier than Star Wars. And I like both, but... Star Trek is totally different. Star Trek is for G's. Janeway was a lesbian? Not to my knowledge. No, she didn't. There was an episode where they went onto the holodeck and there was like a community and she had like a romance with a dude. She wanted 7 of 9's... Oh... I'm not gonna read that. She wanted 7 of 9's P and A. Lick it deep. Deep. Tasty. Jean-Luc would destroy Skywalker. Set phasers to nerd. What? If Luke Skywalker wanted to kill Jean-Luc Picard, he would. What are you talking about? Oh, yes. Use the Force. Yes. Oh, yes, use the Force. Yes, force it in. Oh, yes, do it, Darthy. I love Star Wars, Darthy. You can Jabba... You can... We're almost done. I promise, guys. We're almost done with this section of the stream. You can Jabba my butt anytime. What the... Oh. I'm writing a long, detailed email with irrefutable science evidence providing once and for all that Star Wars will make you poor forever. I am single-handedly fixing all Star Wars fans. Everyone knows Star Wars fans are low T, worms, micrococks, struggle with women, OMG, a new movie. My products are fixing them one by one. Forget about Dork Wars. Tucker White 94. Okay, can we play that cleanser I sent you? I need it after this trip. Yeah, in a minute we can.
There's nothing funny about the
Job of my butt is so, I don't know. I like Hakuna Matatas more as a movie joke. Or Hakuna Matatas, rather. Okay, we could probably move on. Like, it keeps going, guys. I cannot tell you more how much this keeps going. It just keeps going. Oh god, here he is in front of a bunch of Star Wars stuff. He's such a weirdo. It's enough, Tate. Tate. Good luck, Tate. Why? Why every time I walk into this stuff? Why?
Fuck you, Baltimore!
If you're dumb enough to buy a new car this weekend,
You're a big enough schmuck to come to Big Bill Hell's Cars!
bad deal.
Cars that break down!
Thieves.
If you think you're gonna find a bargain at Big Bill,
You can kiss my ass.
it's our belief that you're such a stupid motherfucker!
You'll fall for this bullshit.
Guaranteed!
If you find a better deal,
Shove it up your ugly ass!
you heard us right.
Shove it up your ugly ass!
Bring your tray.
Bring your title!
Bring your
Anonymous
wife.
We'll
Tier,
fuck
thanks
her.
for the
That's
100
right, we'll
bits.
fuck your wife.
Because at Big Bill Hell,
You're fucked 6 ways from Sunday.
take a hike
to Big Bill Hell.
home of challenge pissing!
That's right.
Challenge pissing!
How does it work?
If you can piss 6 feet in the air straight up and not get wet,
You get no down payment.
don't wait!
Don't delay.
Don't fuck with us or we'll rip your nuts off!
Only at Big Bill Hell.
The only dealer that tells you to fuck off!
Hurry up, asshole.
This event ends the minute after you write us a check!
And it better not bounce or you're a dead motherfucker.
Go to hell!
Big Bill Hell's Cars.
Baltimore's filthiest
And exclusive on one of the meanest sons of bitches in the state of Maryland.
guaranteed!
This is actually a video that predates the internet, and it was like passed around, similar to how you would, you know, send around a viral video today on the internet, but it was actually passed around like on VHS tapes to people. Fun fact.
There's nothing
I haven't
funny
been
about
I
the
haven't
tools
been
of
keeping track of my
capitalism.
Chud bingo card. Tidal Bell with 20 bits. Hannah, did you see that Jesse Lee Peterson liked gay porn on Twitter? I did see that. I talked about it a little bit yesterday. It was pretty funny. All right. Well, everyone, I think it's that time. I think it's our favorite time of any Chud Watch, and that's Jeremy, the Quartering, has a brand new video on Brie Larson. And as we all know, Jeremy may be Brie Larson's biggest fan, but I am Jeremy's biggest fan, okay? I'm obsessed with his obsession. I can't quit him. I wish I could. So today, let's hear him talking about, as per the title of this video, all-female Avengers movie is real and led by Brie Larson. This is amazing. Mitchell Drummer, we have homophobia, racism, degenerate, grifting, misreading, study. Okay. On the bingo card. And then, MMO Addicted, I ordered a pizza today and it was pretty good. Not the best, but I had it delivered, and then I assume that's a picture of the
There's
pizza.
nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Bits for the Brokeback reference. Thanks. Yeah. Sure looks like a pizza. I'm sure it was good. Okay, Jeremy, what do you got for us?
Well, it looks like Brie Larson's all-female Avengers is real, and it's going to happen. Smash like right now if you're ready for the train wreck. And if you haven't yet, please hit that red subscribe button. I could really use your voice here in my subscriber base. So maybe, just maybe, you get notified once in a while when I upload. Now, I covered this maybe 6 months ago when Brie was talking about an all-female Avengers. And I talked about then how hilarious it was. And now,
Why is that hilarious? Like, A-Force is a thing in the comics. They're probably just gonna do that. That's fine.
and also that I thought, given Kevin Feige and his clear political motivation and that cringe
The political motivation. Oh no! A superhero movie with all women. We can have superhero movies with all men, or superhero movies that are mostly men with some women, but we cannot have superhero movies with only women. For reasons!
common power moment in Endgame that we were almost certainly going to see this film. Well, now Latia Wright has now, from Black Panther, Letitia? Letitia? I'll say it maybe. I don't know. I just didn't want to say it because I didn't want to get the yellow mark of shame. Sparks mixed reactions over potential movie. Black Panther star says Avengers movie featuring all-female lineup is being spearheaded by Marvel bosses, promoting mixed response on social media. I can't wait. I love it. I mean, think who doesn't want this?
I don't understand why you'd be against it. Like, I like the Marvel movies. In fact, I've been rewatching the Avengers movies the past couple days. They're entertaining. They're not like cinematic masterpieces, but they're a lot of fun. Why would you be inherently against just doing an Avengers movie but happens to include like all the female superheroes? That'd be fine. I'm sure they could have entertaining things to do. They could have interesting things to interact with each other. Like, that's fine. Why not do that? I'm not telling you have to be clamoring for it. I wouldn't tell you have to be excited for any movie. But, like, I don't understand why your opinion is like, no, we can't have this. Like, why? Why? Like, the first Avengers movie, the only female Avenger was Black Widow, right? So that's a movie that's mostly men, right? Most of the characters in that movie are men. And no one bitched about it. No one was like, oh my god, we can't have a movie with only one woman. And then you have Maria Hill, who's also in a little bit, but she's not an Avenger. She's just with S.H.I.E.L.D. So, like, I don't see the issue. What's the issue, Jeremy? Explain. Jeremy smells like alcohol and pee. I don't have smell-o-vision, so I couldn't tell you.
There isn't a single person on the planet that doesn't want this movie, that doesn't want all of the articles. Listen, I'm definitely not. I'm definitely not looking out for my financial security in the future. I'm definitely not eagerly looking forward to all the articles about toxic masculinity when this movie bombs. I just...
Why would it bomb? I don't think a single Marvel movie in the last 10 years has bombed. There have been ones that have made less money, but they've all been profitable. Like, it's the biggest franchise in the world. Whether that remains true after COVID's over, we'll have to see. I genuinely don't know. But, like, the Marvel movies are huge. They've all made a profit. Why would this one in particular fail just because it has ladies in it? Towing24 with 20 bits. So a movie with Captain Marvel, Wasp, Shuri, Scarlet Witch, Kamala Khan, maybe Jessica Jones. Sounds dope. I doubt they'll do Jessica Jones. That would be pretty sweet, though.
I'm definitely not looking...
Does he still think Captain Marvel bombed? Guys, it was only the 23rd highest grossing film of all time. What a bomb. It didn't even crack the top 10 most profitable movies of all time. It's up there in the 20s! Wind Chanter with 20 bits. You don't need it. The drain in his basement never emptied, so it's guaranteed the smell seeped into his clothes, and old stale pee smells worse. Oh, this is gross. This is all gross. Did you guys see they casted Kamala? Kamala Khan? Hold on. Kamala Khan. Do. This girl got casted as Kamala Khan for the upcoming, well, I'll just say the MCU, because they're both doing a Miss Marvel TV show on Disney Plus, and Miss Marvel's also going to appear in movies, so that's who got cast. Did I say Kamala Harris? It's Kamala Khan. I keep making that mistake for some reason. I'm thinking about the election. Can we not discuss gross pee? Sure. I actually, after playing some of the Marvel Avengers game, I ended up starting to read the Miss Marvel comic, because I have the Marvel Unlimited app thing for my tablet, so I can just read comic books on there, and it's pretty good. I like the Miss Marvel series.
Out for my own interests here. I want this.
It has the same... Miss Marvel, to me, feels like a 21st century version of Peter Parker. And what I mean by that is Peter Parker was created as like a teenager in the 60s with real world problems and kind of dealt with those as a teenager or someone in their early 20s would. And Kamala Khan is very similar. Young person with powers and deals with family issues and all sorts of other drama, but also is trying to keep it together and do superhero stuff on the side. Reminds me a lot. So, I like it.
Movie. The actor who plays teen tech guru genius Shuri in the MCU has added fuel to the rumors that the studio is eager to produce a new all-female Avengers movie. She said it's only a matter of time before it happens. Speculation began the female superhero team-up that occurred during a massive final battle of Avengers Endgame.
Tucker White, 94. I'd like to make an announcement. I'm now Hannah's third biggest bit simp. Well, thank you for the bits.
The empowering scene saw Shuri and the likes of Captain Marvel, Pepper Potts, and Scarlet Witch come together against Thanos and his army. By the way, I love Scarlet Witch. Sorry. Big fan of the character, big fan of the actress. Too bad I'm not paying for Disney Plus. Otherwise, I'd watch WandaVision. I suppose there are other ways. It was one of the movie's most talked about moments. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
It was definitely one of the more talked about. People like you harped on it constantly. MMO addicted must preserve my position at the top. Good luck with that. Jeremy, people like you, like, hammered it into the ground. Like, I agree. It's a pretty forced moment where they're like, she's not alone, da-da-da-da, but it's not out of place in a Marvel movie. Marvel movies, the entire franchise is just, like, fan service moments. That's the entire backbone of the franchise, is doing fan servicey things. So it didn't feel that out of place for me, but yeah, it's a little groan-inducing. But it was fine. It's fine. It didn't really matter. Tucker White 94, fear not. Your reign at the top is safe this week. MMO addicted.
No, it wasn't. And you know what was funny? When we were in the theater, my wife laughed. My wife laughed at that scene and looked at me because she knew it was cringe. And she's totally a normie. She doesn't even watch my videos. She doesn't
0% chance someone who marries Jeremy is a normie.
even know what I do down here, okay? She has no idea. And even she, a normie woman, was like, cringe, bro. It's still a case of debut a year later. Some fans saw the scene as an attempt to make up for MCU's lack of prominent female superheroes, while others accused it of being lip service without making any real change. Of course.
Yeah, that would be my position, basically. It was a moment for Marvel to be like, look at all the female superheroes we have, when in actuality, like, one of them was Mantis, who I like Guardians of the Galaxy, but she's not really superhero-y. She just kind of has an ability. And another one was Pepper Potts, who was just like a side character in Iron Man who happened to be given armor in that scene. Like, they really had to pad out the female characters for that scene. I think it really highlighted the fact that Marvel, even though they've been around for 10 years, don't really have that many female characters walking around that have stuff to do with the plot. So I get that. That's basically where I stand on it. I'm hoping with, like, Miss Marvel, future Captain Marvel stuff, and Scarlet Witch and stuff moving forward, they can expand on their female characters.
Of course, because these people are never, ever happy. When you fall in that debate...
What happened to Pepper's power from Iron Man 3? They removed it. They mentioned that in the voiceover at the end of Iron Man 3.
Wherever you fall in that debate, the prospect of seeing more of Marvel's strongest woman on the big screen is an exciting one. And it's something that could happen very soon, if the new interview on Yahoo Entertainment is anything to go by. Quote, is an all-female Avengers movie in the works? When asked if she's fighting for an all-female Avengers movie to happen, she replied, I don't think we have to fight for it. Victoria Alonso is very strong and spearheading, along with Kevin Feige. It's only a matter of time before we do it. She also had a dream lineup for the movie, pointing out to her fellow Black Panther stars, and Angela Bassett, and she also named Tessa Thompson, Valkyrie, and of course Brie Larson, Captain Marvel. What about Scarlet Witch? As expected, the continued speculation over an all-female Avengers movie has received a mixed response from Marvel fans, ranging from overwhelming joy to confusion and outright disapproval. Quote, the small taste we got of an all-female fronted Avengers movie during that final fight in Endgame immediately left me wanting more, wrote an excited fan on Reddit. On Reddit, of course. Would love to see this take shape. Look, if I were a Hollywood actor, I would be definitely promoting... I would definitely be campaigning for more movies of which myself could star in, okay? I get it. Let's be real here. Those Marvel paychecks have got to be pretty spicy. And I would definitely be out there campaigning for more.
Does this count as complaining about minority protagonist? I'm gonna count it, even though women aren't really a minority. They're a minority in representation in Hollywood, so I'll count that
For them.
I think it goes to the spirit of the bingo space, even if the exact wording isn't accurate.
Another is more critical of the intentions behind the movie. As long as there's an organic reason for there to be an all-female group. I don't want these female heroes to be shoehorned in a movie just for the sakes of feminism. Well, I mean, they're only going to be able to fight crime 3 weeks out of the month. Ba-doom-tsh.
Hey guys, you know how women are completely incapable of operating as human beings in the workplace during their periods? And how women all get an extra week off a month just for their period? Oh, that doesn't happen? Oh, I guess it's a bad joke then. That's a bummer.
Yeah, take that one and clip it.
Philosophy Light with 69 bits. Nice. Okay, who cares if there's an all-female Avengers movie? I trust the MCU to make it good. It hurts literally no one, yeah. That's basically where I am on it. Like, it doesn't matter, guys. Like, I think it's cool. I'm excited for basically any MCU movie. And I think Marvel, and this would piss Jeremy off to hear this, but it's true. After the monumental success of Captain Marvel, which again is one of their higher grossing movies, I think they've recognized, oh, there are women out there who really enjoy superhero movies and they want to see more women in the main roles in those movies. So it would make sense to do like just from a marketing perspective, hey, we're doing a movie, and it's going to include all the cool, like, women that you like from the MCU movies. That makes sense to me. I don't know.
I'm fine with it. One person even suggested the movie would be part of a political agenda, but others defended the idea, pointing out that nobody bats an eye when an all-male team is default, so an all-female team shouldn't need a reason to exist.
I agree with that statement. Like, guys, it's not like... How do I put this? No one cared that the original Ghostbusters were all dudes, but all of a sudden they make an all-female team of Ghostbusters and everyone freaks out. Like, guys, it just doesn't matter. I don't like 2016 Ghostbusters. I don't think it's funny. But the fact that they're women is not what the problem is with that movie. Like, consistently throughout the history of movies and books and other things, there's an underrepresentation of female main characters. So we're trying to get to a place where it's more equitable, where it makes sense relative to the actual proportion of women in society. And then when stuff like this happens and we're like, hey, maybe we're going to do a movie where the main characters aren't men, and people like Jeremy flip out. And it's like, Jeremy, do you not understand that the status quo for most of the history of movies has been women not being in prominent roles at all? Like, chill out. You have 99% of movies that are catered to you. Can you not just accept that other people want things catered to them? Stupid. Antipodian Squid with 50 bits. I'm off for now, everyone. Have fun with the rest of the stream, and I'll see some of you later for some spirit science fun. Coolio. Thanks for coming.
I agree. I 100% agree that an all-female Avengers movie is amazing. I love everything about it. I mean, I'm going to be right on the front lines of supporting all the strong, independent women who don't need no man. I'm sure that it's going to make billions of dollars at the box office.
It would probably make $1 billion. Yeah, Captain Marvel did.
I'm sure that the media, if it doesn't, I'm sure the media won't blame men for not wanting to see the movie. I'm sure the actresses definitely won't have takes about toxic masculinity and how this is going to scare the toxic males out there. I'm sure.
Tucker White 94, there's a giant butt coming. Yeah.
I'm sure that the media is not going to have takes that say if you don't pay to see this movie that you have underlying issues with women. I'm sure none of these things are going to happen. Some joked that Marvel should take cues from the now infamous Girls Get It Done plotline from The Boys, which poked fun at the Avengers. It ended with 3 female superheroes taking on a villain.
That was rad, by the way. If you guys saw The Boys season 2, that was awesome.
Only if they go at it from the girls like the boys, the Reddit user said. If it does go ahead, an all-female Avengers movie is likely a long way off before the fans have to look forward to it, including Black Widow hitting cinemas on May 7th, 2021. Oh, they delayed that again, I forgot. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, which is due for release on July 9th. By the way, I think both of these films will greatly underperform at the theater.
I mean, probably. I think all films are going to be underperforming at the theaters at that point. Like, we're in a pandemic, Jeremy, and even if a vaccine gets released, it's going to take a long time before everyone can get it. And even then, like, people are not going to go out right away. People are concerned. So yes, all films are going to underperform for the next couple of years, I think. Tucker White 94. So how many gallons of poison did Jeremy's dump down the well? Guys, wait until, and this is going to happen. I'm a psychic. I'm going to predict something that's impossible to predict. Black Widow's going to come out, and
There's nothing funny about the tools
it's not going to do as well. Specifically because of COVID, and because people don't want to go back to movie theaters right now. And Jeremy's going to go, haha, see? You thought this female superhero stuff was going to go well. Well, look at this movie. And he is going to completely ignore the fact that all movies will be doing bad at that time. It's going to be maddening listening to his brain-dead take.
I think that we've seen a long, how do you say? People have been off that drip, off that Marvel superhero Disney drip, long enough to kind of remember that there are better movies out there. And I'm not...
Jeremy, people aren't under some delusion or spell because of the Marvel movies. People just like fun, popcorny, action, comedy movies. Like, I get it. And at some point, the Marvel movies are going to stop making all the money in the world. Right now, the Avengers movies are like the most popular movies on the planet. That's going to end at some point. It wouldn't surprise me if it's already, like, ending, right? We had Endgame. The general population might be like, I don't care after that. I got the conclusion. Tony Stark's dead. Whatever. It's possible. And that's fine. That's just how film genres go. Sometimes they get really popular and become like a fad, and then they go away. Not a big deal. But it's not going to be caused, I don't think, by COVID specifically. It's not like they're breaking out of a spell and deciding, wait a minute, these movies weren't that good. It's probably just going to be like, well, I've seen these. I'm kind of over it. And that's fine.
That Marvel movies are terrible. I'm just saying that they're not amazing. They have amazing scenes in them. And there are Marvel movies that are really good. I think the first Guardians of the Galaxy was really good. I think Doctor Strange was really good.
That's surprising to me because, like, to me, Doctor Strange and Captain Marvel are, like, literally right there with each other in terms of, like, quality. I think they're both a little bit played out superhero origin movies, but they're carried by some fun moments and the actor and actress respectively playing the titular roles. So it's weird to me that Jeremy, like, counts Doctor Strange amongst his favorites. It's kind of weird to me.
I think there are episodes, in the Avengers plotline that are pretty good. Winter Soldier, or, something like that. Or, I mean, even you could say Endgame was pretty good. Still kind of long for me. Too much kind of winding roads in that film.
Captain Rose, the 20 bits cough cough westerns in the mid-century and action men in the 80s and 90s. Trends come and die. Yep. We're probably coming to the end of the Marvel one, which is a little bit of a shame. I really enjoy the movies, but I get it, I was pretty fortunate that those became really popular in the first place. It's kind of wild,
Ultimately, Marvel movies have no stakes. They can just bring back characters, go to alternate universes. And for me, I like real stakes. Not that Chuck Norris starring in Missing in Action 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 didn't feel like there weren't stakes, but it just had a different feel to me because Chuck Norris being invincible is something that we just all know to be fact.
Oh, Chuck Norris jokes in 2020. Cutting edge humor, folks.
Now, of course, the movie talks about the actress says Black Panther sequel would be strange to make without Chadwick. And yeah, it will be strange. I mean, I think... I don't know what you do with it. I think you can replace him. Black Panther is a character, not an actor. I think that if you give it time and you really pull the viewers, I think you can take an existing character and have them wear the mantle. We see this with Batwoman right now. We'll see. Replacing the actor or actress behind Batwoman isn't why that show failed. It was the writing. I think you can have, people say Shuri is the Black Panther. People should do that. Those sentiments prove how Shuri has taken a life of her own in the 2 years since Black Panther hit theaters. I think she's a great character, a strong actress. I don't think she should be Black Panther, but...
Why? Why, Jeremy? She becomes Black Panther for a while in the comics. I just don't see Disney dropping the Black Panther franchise because the first one made so much money and was such like a cultural phenomenon, It was so big, I cannot imagine them dropping it. So the logical choice is to make Shuri the new Black Panther.
But, I think she can be if Marvel wants it. I mean, this is Marvel's dream, right? Replace an existing male superhero character with a female. This is exactly what Marvel wants.
Is Jeremy so drunk or deluded that he legitimately thinks Kevin Feige is sitting in a chair somewhere and he's like, how do I get rid of all these men? That's not how it works, you idiot.
But I don't know. Make sure you smash like and you spread this video everywhere. We've got to make sure this movie happens. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Oh, God, Jeremy. Just stop. Just stop. I really don't like Jeremy. Okay, that's enough Jeremy for today. This is brief, but Tucker Carlson has a thing where he's like, I have information on Hunter Biden, but the documents, they're gone. Whoopsie. Let's see what it says.
There's always a lot going on that we don't have time to get to on the air, but there's something specific going on behind the scenes right now that we did feel we should tell you about. So on Monday of this week, we received from a source a collection of confidential documents related to the Biden family. We believe those documents are authentic, they're real, and they're damning. At the time we received them, my executive producer, Justin Wells, and I were in Los Angeles preparing to interview Tony Bobolinsky about the Biden's business dealings in China, Ukraine, and other countries. So we texted a producer in New York, and we asked him to send those documents to us in LA, and he did that. So Monday afternoon of this week, he shipped those documents overnight to California with a large national carrier, a brand name company that we've used, you've used countless times with never a single problem. But the Biden documents never arrived in Los Angeles. Tuesday morning, we received word from the shipping company that our package had been opened and the contents were missing. The documents had disappeared. Now, to its credit, the company took this very seriously and immediately began a search. They traced the envelope from the moment our producers dropped it off in Manhattan on Monday all the way to...
I agree. Why would you ship this physically without having copies? Why would they not fax it to you or email like pictures of it or scans? It makes zero sense. Tiger White 94, I have evidence that Hannah, Baja, Jake, and Sarah all killed Martians on Pluto in a drug smuggling deal gone wrong, but unfortunately the Postal Service lost it. Yeah, you can make as many accusations as you want if you just say, the Postal Service ate my homework.
At 3:44 a.m. yesterday morning. That's when an employee at a sorting facility in another state noticed that our package was open and empty. Apparently it had been open. So the company's security team interviewed every one of its employees who touched the envelope we sent. They searched the plane and the trucks that carried it. They went through the office in New York where our producer dropped that package off. They combed the entire cavernous sorting facility. They used pictures of what we had sent so that searchers would know what to look for. They went far and beyond, but they found nothing. Those documents have vanished. As of tonight, the company has no idea and no working theory even about what happened to this trove of materials, documents that are directly relevant to the presidential campaign just 6 days from now. We spoke to executives at that company a few hours ago. They seemed baffled and deeply bothered by this, and so are we.
Guys, we had damning information on Joe Biden. Trust us. We just don't have it. My girlfriend in Canada actually has it. She's real, by the way. Definitely. So, if you'd like to question me, I guess you'll just have to bring it up with her. Yeah. But, supposedly, since then on Twitter, they've said, like, oh, UPS found the documents. So, we'll see what the follow-up on this is. Is there anything else I want to watch, or am I going to cut it short a little bit today? I'm kind of tired. Probably gonna raid Demon Mama. I usually go over 3 hours, but it's 2 hours 43 minutes. I'm kind of tired, so. Copy. Right, this is a long ad. Jesus.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Maya is bored of 20 bits. I'm anointed by Christ, but the proof got lost at the postal service. And yes, that actually is a believable story if you live in Sweden. Okay.
That's right, capitalistic propaganda.
Okay, so we're gonna raid Demon Mama. Tilda Bell, thank you for following. So thanks everyone. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm trying to get to 3,000 subscribers. I'm quite close. Like 300 something subscribers away. A little less than that, actually. So thanks, everyone, for coming to the stream, being supportive. YouTube channel is youtube.com/HannahReloaded. I won't be back tomorrow because oh, thank you, Hannah Simp, for gifting a sub. Appreciate it. I won't be here tomorrow because I'm getting electrolysis done, so I gotta drive like an hour and a half away. So, sub for bingo. It's not me. I've told you guys, I don't do the sub for Chud bingo. Oh, that was someone else saying that they did it. Duh.
Nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Thank you. Tucker White 94. Boo. Oh, boo yourself. I've seen what makes you cheer. Your boos mean nothing. Oh, that was you. Okay, I don't know then. Whatever. So I'll be back Saturday. See you guys Saturday. Bye. Chat's valid.